I don't want to participate in any type of war. I don't understand why men and women want war and they still want to hook up. It's kind of weird. Because so often I've seen that there's programming and conditioning going on that does not represent the man being lifted up. It's more so tearing down. And women, we don't even realize that the conditioning is going on. Is honesty a disadvantage in this space? Because that's how I'm coming. I'm coming with honesty. It makes no sense for us to bring the woman up, and then there's still women out here that are dogging and belittling our men. So we got to get the message that we got to come up together because we're for each other. Y'all do understand that, don't you? I'm trying to share with these women how to be better women, how to prepare themselves to be wives. I'm giving them what I call tools in order to walk out there daily. She don't advocate for us. No, that's not true. I very much do. I want you to have all the information and a good woman. All the information and a good woman, because I want you all men to be leaders.
Do you think most women can really deal with what it comes with a man that truly is having the trajectory of like a high level success? What's your thoughts on that, SB?
For me, I build with my husband. I think my husband is very successful now, but we build together. Going in the front door, we build together. And I still think that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. To me, that's an actual ultimate test. You have a woman, this is a little bit off, but if you have a woman and y'all having a conversation and you're thinking about being married, ask that woman, are you interested in having one pot? Mm. Would you put all your money in one pot with me? Is this something we can do? And that right there, that'll answer all your questions. Yep. You know, that'll give you, does she trust you? Does she like you? Is she willing to build with you? That answers the total question right there. Mm. But I just think when a man, I think we all need to be reminded of what marriage is. Mm-hmm. So even if that man is super successful and is on that journey, has not achieved it yet, once he alters that journey and decides he wants a wife, which some of them do, because a lot of them say, hey, look, I got to get her now, because when I get successful, I'm not going to be able to trust anybody. I ain't going to know what she wants. Yeah. They need to figure out how to incorporate that woman into that plan that they had for themselves before. And it is always a way, because she is your wife. You all should be on one accord and have that same plan. You have to figure out how to put her in there. Right. So it can work, but she still has to know how to play that role, but you have to be the one to give it to her. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. It's me, your host, SB.
Dearly beloved.
Y'all, how y'all doing tonight? Y'all know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock, y'all. Me and Mr. Boss did that thing tonight. We made it here on time. And those of you that are making you wait your way into the live, you are on time also. And I'm so glad that y'all decided to spend some time with me over here at SB Nation. Y'all, how y'all doing? Oh my goodness, y'all. It has been a busy day for me, but it's a good Thursday. I'm glad I'm here. Tonight's show is going to be interesting. Y'all know it's coming from a somewhat of a recap from Hardlyinitiated, which actually took place on last night. Miss Princella was there and Tim, Pastor Tim. They are, did the show together. It was a very long show. It was, in my opinion, a whole lot of talking. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna do some more talking, and we're gonna come up with some solutions. And it was a good show, but it was I ain't gonna say too much. Anyway, tonight's show, men need Jesus. But what about the woman, y'all? But what about the woman? Who she need? Princella? Anyway,
They liars, bro. They liars.
I'm just making fun because y'all already know. But anyway, I got to say this, and then I'm going to do my announcements, make sure I let everybody come in here. We're going to take it slow because I don't want to miss anything. But I must say, after seeing Miss Princella last night, I do definitely think differently about her. And I'm going to share with you all what I think. But it was a good show. Hardlyinitiated. I appreciate the guys so much. Got an announcement for that. I hope y'all kept my secret. Did y'all keep my secret? My people, did y'all keep my secret? Tell me the truth. But anyway, before we get started, tonight's show, men need Jesus, but women are what? Y'all can fill in the blanks, but hopefully by the end of the night, we'll have a good solution to this particular question, and everybody could be on the same page. I doubt it, but guess what? I am a seed sower. I need someone else to come behind me and sprinkle. So that's what we're here to do. But before we get started, I want to say hello, you all over there on Instagram. Thank you so much for your engagement. If it's your first time at SBU Live, make sure that you are subscribing to the channel. I got 3 things I want y'all to do. Y'all already know. Those of you who have been here for a while, y'all already know what I'm asking them to do. I ain't asking for no money, but I would like to have just 2 seconds of their time. I want them to subscribe to the channel. I want them to turn that alert on. And when you're coming into the live, I want you to give me a thumbs up. Also, if you don't agree, or if you do agree with what I'm saying, Mr. Boss is going to drop the link later on in the show, and you could actually cam up, and we could talk about it. Yes, but up until then, thank you so much for being here. TikTok, same thing. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the alert on. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Give me some smoke if you have some. But again, we appreciate you. Now listen, Facebook friends and family, y'all know it. Subscribe to the channel. SBU Live, subscribe to the channel. Turn your alert on so you can be here with me every Tuesday and Thursday that I'm here. And give me a thumbs up as you're coming in. But I got to get y'all another special announcement. Those of you that are over on Facebook, we're going to give y'all about 30 minutes of visual over there. We're going to turn it off. And we want and love for you to come over here to YouTube and join us here. So about 30 minutes into the show, Mr. Boss is going to cut you off over there on Facebook. So if you're watching over there, come on over to YouTube. I know it's not 1, 2, 3. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to get over here to YouTube. But make sure you come on over to YouTube. Become a part of our family over here also, because we love you. And, that's it. I gave y'all an extra step. That might be a lot, right? But work it out. And I'm back here with my, of course, my YouTube family. How y'all doing?
Dearly beloved.
I see my people. Harrison. Hello. Clement. Miss M. Miss M coming out the box saying no with exclamation. Who did it? Trey, Mr. Gearwood. What's up? Women need exorcists. Clement, you showing out. J.A. Bond 45. This is going to be a good one. I hope so. But listen, J.A.S.B., I'm a little twisted. I think different, y'all. So y'all know that. Clement, listen, a membership over at Hardlyinitiated is not a bad thing. They need men over there. Listen, I know out of the 14,000 plus subscribers that I have, right? The majority of you all are men. I need y'all to go over to also Hardlyinitiated because they need men. They need to balance this thing out. We need to make sure we have a balanced audience, especially when SB is there. Did I tell y'all I was going to be there on Sunday at 5 o'clock? I didn't tell y'all. Well, anyway, I'm going to be there Sunday, this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. Yes, SB will be live on Hardlyinitiated on Sunday at 5 p.m. So I need you all, men included, men and women, we need you all over there on Sunday. Y'all pay the membership or, you don't want to, I understand, but y'all know if y'all have a question, you could also do the super chat, but I ain't trying to break your pockets just to be there. But listen, just your support, just be there in the audience, in the beginning, give me that SB Nation shout out. I'm there with you, and it will be great. That's all I want y'all to do. But I will be there this coming Sunday, 5 p.m. And a young lady by the name of, she's her page or channel. I'm not really sure if it's a channel, but I think she's on YouTube. Yes. It's called Marriage Inc. Marriage Inc. is her and her husband. Her name is Miss Shirley. Apparently, Miss Shirley has been on the channel Hardlyinitiated several times, but Miss Shirley and myself will be there Sunday at 5 p.m. live. So make sure y'all go check me out. Okay. Y'all come and check me out. Black man, what's going on? It's good to see you, Dr. Steele. Dr. Steele, I saw you up in the comment section last night. Witness something. Did you want to just say, be quiet, hurry up, and shut up? I mean, shut up. I wouldn't say that. That's rude. But when you want to say, hurry up, or something like that. I mean, Princella, she seems like y'all, she's just too long-winded. Y'all, I can't take it. She be too long-winded, y'all. Just get to the point. I love it when the guys ask the questions and they have answers. All these, God, y'all, I don't even know what you call them, but it's too much. I want that conversation to flow. I want Pastor Tim to be able to throw his 5 cents in there, and Ryan and Tayshawn to throw their 2 cents in there too. But we just did a whole lot of, it was one of them things where you looking and you be like, damn. I kind of wanted to ask her a question about the first thing she said, but I don't forgot the first thing she said. So let me it don't even matter no more. Cause that was about 5 minutes ago. Then you looking again, you be like, oh, I like that. Oh, I'm gonna ask what? Oh, dang. I kind of forgot what I was going to say. What was it again? Ah, shoot. Don't even worry about it. It don't even make no sense. You want to do a super chat, but you don't forget what you wanted to super chat about because the whole thing took 15 minutes to complete. And then you'd be like, Dad, just don't even worry about it. We done went on to something else. It's one of them type things. Did y'all feel that way? Dr. Steele, did you feel that way? Because I did. But we understand. We understand. And I kind of understand a little bit of what she's saying because I do know when people start clipping up videos, they can take on a different meaning. So you do want to make sure that you're getting your point completely across, or it can be misconstrued. So I kind of understand a little bit, but not completely at all, y'all. So, either way, let's do some announcements and, we're going to continue to go on. First things first, those of you who have dropped me a little email at sbshow2020@gmail.com. We appreciate you. You all are showing interest in I Choose You, the sexy edition, 40 and over. And I thank you for that. If I have not yet said hello and I got you, it's coming soon. I've been a little busy lately. Y'all have been having to work. You know what I mean? We're trying to get stuff ready for next year. Me and Mr. Boss been kind of like sailing the whole year, not the whole year, since like the summer, we've been kind of cooling, but now we're trying to get together because we got to do some work coming up in the beginning of the year. We got some new contracts we're taking on. So we got to get busy again, a little bit for a time. So that's kind of what we've been doing. So, if I haven't got back with you yet, forgive me, but will come soon. I will email you. But again, those of you that are interested in being a part of the real sexy I Choose You 40 and over, please. Now listen, 40 and over, that's what it is. I need you all to drop me a line over at sbshow2020@gmail.com and I will definitely get back with you. We are in the beginning stages, but I have gotten a lot of emails of male and female. So y'all, it's coming along. I appreciate you. The next thing, I got to tell y'all about this. The Standard is back. We did it. We did it. The Standard is back next Thursday, December 21st at 7 p. We will have The Standard, and everybody that is part of The Standard will be back. We got Cam, we got the Bloomin' Ebony, we got Jedi and Cheeky, and we will be back doing our reunion show next Thursday. December the 21st at 7 p. Now, listen, y'all, a lot of things have happened. We're going to try to make sure that it might be some surprises going on camera. Wouldn't that be good if we had like a reunion surprise on December the 21st, Thursday, which is coming up? But if we just get through the show, we'll be good. But y'all got to be there because I can't tell y'all everything. I be telling y'all too much off the top. But I just want y'all to know there could be some big surprises. And the show alone is going to bring some awesome surprises. So I need for you all to be there. The Standard will be Thursday, December 21st at 7 p. The Standard would be Cam. Hopefully JB will stick his head in. We got Jedi. Hopefully Tamika will be in the background. We got Ebony, her husband, and Cheeky, the Long Ranger. But you already know, y'all got to be there also. So Thursday, December the 21st at 7 p. The Standard is coming back. Make sure you are there. All right. Ooh, did I forget something? It seems like I had a lot of announcements. I already told y'all. I know y'all told my secret, but even if you didn't, make sure on this coming Sunday, you all tune in to Hardlyinitiated at 5 p.m. because your girl is going to be there. Who knows what we're going to be talking about? But whatever it is, I know and hope that you all are supporting me, SB, and I'm going to definitely be there for you all. So make sure y'all there, okay? All right, so listen. Y'all, listen. It's that show the other night was something else, but it just goes to show where we are, the time that we're living in. And, you know, even though it was very long-winded, we heard a lot of talking and conversation about natural science and things of that nature. There's a couple things I could say about that, but one thing I definitely want to say about science. Science is definitely an observation, but it's only an observation of what God has already created. So how in the world could we have this science that we totally believe in, but can't believe in the creator himself? Isn't that weird? It's odd. But, you know, I have noticed that some things that Miss Priscilla has said, like a few months back, she was totally men don't have the ability or the capability to love. And now we're giving it 1%. I bet if we hang out a little bit longer, we'll be up to maybe about 10% because now she's seeing things different. So what that is actually saying is that somebody somewhere is planting a seed, and what is real because God is real, right? We can't deny him. And if we go back to nature and this natural form, you definitely can't deny him. But how come we keep talking about science, which is time, space, and matter, and God, the one who created, but we're not trying to get an entity the just due. God did this, y'all. God did it. And, you know, she made a lot of references. This is kind of a good thing, though, because she's like really, honestly, she's an open book to learning what the real is, right? What really makes us tick, because she said she want to go back to cause and effect. The cause is because we were born into sin. The effect is if you don't get Jesus, you're going to stay in sin and your consequences are going to be very bad. That's actually how it is. But we can make it all long and drawn out and all of that. But what God does give you is free will to do what you want to do. You can choose him and his son, the Christ, or you can actually stay in sin and scam people, be a lesbian, have sex with other women, you know, all that stuff that you do. And you can actually wish and pray for good consequences, but it probably won't come because he's already told you by that instructional manual that he gave us, which was the Bible, that he translated it. Some of them wrote it down because they were in the spirit with him, walking alongside him. So you are a very good example, Princella. So I hope and pray that you are open-minded to what is getting ready to happen in your life, because it's a good thing. So that was one thing that man that Pastor Tim told her. Y'all, Princella get ready to blow up. If she can just be submissive, you know that thing that
If she could just be submissive and keep on talking to the right people, keep wanting to know the true pecking order, keep wanting to know, keep being inquisitive about it, you will get it. You're going to see, because like I said, it can't be denied. How do we continue going to the science, which is merely observation that man put in place, but what we're observing is God himself who created it all. So pretty soon it'll come around, y'all. It will. But I like some of the questions that she's asking, or some of the things that she's saying, because she was like, well, who is this God? Y'all keep referring to him as a man. God himself is the entity, but Jesus the Christ, put into flesh so he could come here to actually save us. He died on the cross, which is God's son. But listen to this, y'all. This is a question that I had, and then we're going to get back to the show. But this is a question I have. We're talking about real pecking order and what happened in a foundation. Foundation is in principles. This is how you live your life. This is me being a believer. This is how I would live my life. This is how I do live my life. This is where I get satisfaction, fulfillment. And this is just how it makes sense to me. And I can imagine if you operating in this big old world without that, you could be spinning on an axle, not knowing which way you're going. You could be falling for any and all things, trying any and all things and getting yourself in trouble and not getting or having good results at all. Because I get so many crazy messages, y'all. Somebody told me just yesterday, why a woman got to be accountable. I'm thinking, huh? Wow, a woman got to be accountable. And I got to thinking, I was like, well, maybe she's coming from a spiritual, point of view where, men are the leaders. They cover us and they're the ones that are accountable, because as in the Bible, in the beginning with this Genesis, where Eve was the one that made the mistake, God actually got on Adam about, this woman. So I can kind of maybe see, in other words, he did hold both of them accountable, but he blamed Adam for what Eve did. But y'all, my question is this: why did Eve need to know everything? If Adam done walk with God for who knows how many years, y'all, these are just questions and things I sit and think about. I don't know if y'all do or not, but I just sit and think about, wow, he's given this man, Adam, all this knowledge of everything, giving him dominion over all these things. You name this, you do this, you got it. You are in control. But the one thing I don't want you to do is go over there to that garden and mess with that tree. Don't be eating of that fruit over there. You don't need to know that. That is knowledge of good and evil. You don't need to know. Then when the woman, he gave you a woman, he gave Adam a woman, told the woman the same thing. You and Adam are together to do these things, but you're not to mess with that particular tree. That's fruit of, that you shouldn't eat that. You don't need to know that. Just understand and believe me. But for whatever reason, it was not enough. She said in her own mind, I can imagine, I wonder why he don't, I want to know. And guess what? She was manipulated into partaking or eating of the fruit of that tree. She did it. So it changed everything when she did it. But y'all, the thing that I wonder about is that y'all know God knew she was going to do it, because he knows everything. So he gave her the choice, and she actually went for it. So he knew that it was going to happen. But my question is, why did she need to know everything? How come she just couldn't believe what this? I mean, just think about it, y'all. Everything he did and said was already real and manifested. I give you and command you authority over all these things. How come that wasn't enough, y'all? How come this woman that he created from this man needed to know more? Why? Yeah, he did, Trey. So God created something he knew he wasn't going to hold accountable. No, I don't agree with that part. What I agree with is that he held the man accountable for what she did, but the reality of it is he still cursed her. So in my mind, that is accountability. But the instruction was given to her head. He told them both, but Adam was the leader, and the leader failed, and that is where we are now. But I still want to know why she needed to know everything, y'all. Why did she go eat of this fruit? How did she allow herself to be manipulated? See, I think about that so much because I think about the discipline, how much discipline I try every day to have, how often I say, you know what, flesh, you don't need that. I'm gonna have some different discipline. How I'm always looking around trying to figure out, where is the test coming from? This is me. This is how I go through my life. I tell y'all all the time, I protect my marriage, I protect my husband and myself. I'm always with the eyes wide open, and people laugh at me. They be like, you just insecure. Your man did see you. No. I'm not a fool. I know what I got. Just like Eve was given dominion over everything. And I bet Adam was, a hot one, right? He was the man, y'all. He was high value, very, very high value, but there was no protection. She didn't protect him, y'all. She didn't protect. I'm not going to be that person. I got a good man. I live a good life. I try to follow the instructional book that God has put there for us. And it tells me I need to protect what I have. I need to have and operate in discipline. And that's what I do. So that's what people tell me, they say all kind of crazy stuff. You don't need discipline? How is your discipline? Somebody, discipline is what gets you through. You do not fall to every fleshly desire that you have. Wow. Who would say that that's something that you do? Think about it. Think about every time that you fail to all those fleshy desires that you do have, and thank the Lord that you were able to get up and tell somebody about it, because that could have been the one and last time that you did that, whatever it was. Because often we do things of that nature, and a lot of us don't make it happen. But anyway, that was one thing I think about a lot. I just wonder why the woman had to know everything and why we had to participate, or why the woman had to be, because I just think like, wow, we didn't have to go through all this. A woman didn't have to be cursed. We could be good, but he knew from the beginning. Yeah, he knew. And once it was done, now we know of good and evil. Now sin is here. We got to operate in it. I mean, we got to live in it. We got to be born in it. We got to be. But then guess what? I don't know if God knew from the beginning that it was going to be as bad as it was, but it was pretty bad. So he sent us a savior, and that's where we are now. But judging and hearing what I hear on these spaces, or in these spaces, and what I actually heard Princella saying, we're going to start with the marriage. I heard that Tim was explaining to her, about marriage. And I've been married a very long time, 28 years. And I often wonder, I talk to my husband sometimes, and I be thinking, what's so hard about this? Meaning, what is it that I need to be doing outside of my marriage that would bring me so much pleasure that I can't do within my marriage? And I think this way, I know, because it's my relationship with God. It's my relationship to Christ. It's my submission to that type of life. That is what works for me. Now, I hear for some it doesn't work, but I really want to know, if that doesn't work, if you're just out here living, and there are some very good people in the world, don't get me wrong. Excuse me. There may not be people who have accepted Christ into their life, but there are some good, morally good people. But I think about it and I'm like, you know what? My commitment to my husband and the covenant that he and I took with God at the altar is what I do not want to disappoint. I don't want to break that. It makes me feel special to know that I have a savior, that God has said to me, everything that you've done wrong, we've taken care of it. You good. As long as you do these things. Now, you might mess up, but don't forget who you are. And I'm thinking, hey, that makes good sense. I need these instructions. In my marriage, it should be this way. I should follow this. Why would I do anything else? What is so pleasurable about cheating on your husband? What would be so pleasurable about that? What is so pleasurable, if I was a man, about a man hitting or knocking out his wife or cheating on his wife? What is so pleasurable about that? Let's just really think about this. This is in marriage, y'all. What would be so pleasurable about that? I just wonder, because in my mind, that would be such a disappointment. It would be just so disappointing. And then to hear all these things that people talk about that go on within their marriage is such a disappointment. It's such a disappointment. I'm just going to say it like that. And it just tells us where we are. So listen, men and women, if you are really honestly thinking about getting married, you might want to definitely, I say it all the time, but you got to vet the person that you're going to marry. You got to vet them sincerely. You got to figure out where they are in life, for one. You got to figure if they are devoted into a committed relationship with you, and also that covenant with God, because marriage is not a business. There are definitely some business aspects that go into our marriage, meaning money, budget, businesses that we own, things of that nature, but it's not a business. The mindset of running a business and in your marriage is two different things. And I really think if you're taking it and seeing it as a business, then it may fail. It may fail. It may not be something that you can endure. But if it's a covenant and you made that promise to God at that altar, you will do well, because you go back to that all the time. Now, what does that mean? That I'm going to be perfect and I'm going to do everything right or everything that Mr. Boss like all the time? Absolutely not. That also means that he's not going to be doing everything I want him to do all the time either. We're going to have some conflicts because I'm a woman and he's a man. But we're going to always go back to what God says is true. If you do this and you do this, I got you. Because see, every day we are becoming one with each other. I am putting him first and he is putting me first. And that is what the goal is to become one. We want to become one and show up united. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, I'm not going to mistreat this person. I'm not going to hurt this person, because then if you are, you're hurting yourself. Now, we often hurt ourselves and we often can fall away, but it's our job to go back to the original plan. And that was the commitment and the covenant that we've made. And that's what you always want to remember. And I think nowadays, not a lot of people are pushing covenant. We pushing marriage as a business, marriage as a partnership, and things of that nature. And that doesn't work. That's very surface. It gets you a little bit, but it doesn't get you deep when stuff really pop off, if things really do pop off, or where your mind is not right, or you're not in the right mindset, or you haven't matured in this area and you're still operating as a single person, but you're married. You're selfish and things of that nature, and you don't know why you're selfish. Or when you're being tempted at the job and you don't know why I'm being tempted, or your wife, she wants to wear the short skirt out, who knows why. All that stuff, you have to figure out what to do about that. It has to be second nature to me as a wife that this is not how I'm supposed to present myself. And if I'm having thoughts about me presenting myself that way, I need to check myself and be like, what are you doing? This is not the representation of a wife. You better get yourself together, And see, a lot of this doesn't have anything to do with my husband. It has everything to do with me and my relationship with God. I'm straight tripping if I'm going out in a short skirt around men and what am I doing? I'm not displaying the wife that God says I should be. And that's what we want to work on. So there's a clip. Mr. Boss has a clip here, and they talk about marriage just a little. And I want y'all to hear this. And I got an opinion of it, of course.
So when you hear of brothers that have been married for 20, 30, 40 years, who have raised, families all under one roofs, or in one home, do you consider those brothers to just be the exception?
No, because a man telling me that he's been married says nothing to me, because marriage was made for men anyway. Marriage teaches women to tolerate a lot of trauma and dysfunction and put up with a lot of transgressions that men have. So a man being married for 20, 30, 40 years only tells me that the woman tolerated a lot of abuse, a lot of mental and emotional turmoil for him to even say he's been married that long. So
Pardon my interruption.
Hold on just a second.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. So men telling me they've been married.
All right. So listen, everyone listen. I am a woman. I've been married 28 years. I have not experienced any trauma or turmoil or abuse from my husband. Understand that. But also understand that my husband and I took vows. We have a covenant relationship that has a foundation that is built upon Christ, God, our Savior. That is the foundation for our marriage. So outside of our marriage, neither one of us want to disappoint who our Creator is and what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be operating our purpose. And so, listen, there is no absolute. So even though her statement was very large, just because a person, y'all listen, there is no, it's amazing that she would say this, because there's people are people. There are good people and there are bad people. Just because you are a man, MALE, it doesn't mean that you are responsible for trauma, domestic violence, or anything else that is negative. It doesn't mean that exactly. Now, you could be, and there are a bunch of trashy, no good men in this world, and y'all absolutely know that. Y'all absolutely know that. And I do not wish that type of person on anyone. But when we talk about marriage, which I will tell y'all over and over again, it's a biblical concept. She's talking about something else. She just talking about people hooking up and talking about their marriage. I'm talking about marriage. I'm talking about my 28 years. My husband doesn't have no outside kids. My husband never cheated on me. He's not a gambler. He doesn't steal money. There's no trauma here. There's no sickness. There's none of that stuff that I would have to endure per se. And I'm enduring it, or just because I've been in a marriage a long time, because marriage was a concept that was put together for a man. I don't believe that, because see, I believe in God and his concept of marriage. I believe what Christ said. This is the example. This is the bride of Christ. This is what I want marriage to look like. Go to the blueprint of it. Go to Ephesians when he talks about a husband submitting to his wife and a wife submitting to her husband, and a husband in Corinthians where he loves his wife and where a woman submits to her husband and respects him. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the business, and I'm not talking about this craziness that people do outside of marriage and call it marriage. I'm talking about a real marriage, which is a covenant. You don't have to look forward to trauma. You don't have to look forward to a woman enduring something and things of that nature, because everybody, the individuals themselves first have a relationship with God where they want to be pleasing to him. And of course we have sin, we are born into it. But guess what? We also have agreed that we are followers of Christ. And I'm not talking about religion. Everybody always say, oh, you religious or religion. I'm not talking about religious. I'm not talking about being a Baptist. I'm not talking about AME. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about following Christ. I'm talking about a covenant. I'm talking about the vows you took. I'm talking about being a person of your word. I'm talking about discipline, foundation, principles, order, structure, that type of stuff. People really do live that way. Not everybody submits to their flesh and want to please it. Not everybody. There are people out there who are serious about this situation. There are grown folks out there that are real about it. I'm here right now as a woman that is married to a man, been there for 28 years. I have results for the life that my husband and I have built together. Now, it wasn't easy, but the most time when it wasn't easy, it was because we were not into our word the way we were supposed to be. It was us falling away, or me, myself, not being the woman or the wife I needed to be. I can't blame anything on my husband. I can't do that because he's a man. We have an instructional manual. Like I said, all we have to do is go back and refer to it and figure out what God got to say about this. And we can choose to do what he says or not. And see, that's the part. That's the part right there. That's the problem. We forget that we have free will. We forget that we have choices, and we forget that we make them. That is the problem. So what do we have here? Oh, TQM has a valid point on that, SB. She does. Many women talk about the doormat treatment husbands gave them during the marriage. The wife is conditioned to think she must endure it. It is documented. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I absolutely know that there is some terrible and has been some terrible marriages. But what I would say to that is those people did not marry as a covenant marriage. I don't know what the terms of the agreement was for their marriage, but I would say that Maybe they were not God-fearing. Maybe they didn't put Christ at the center of their life. Maybe they didn't have a foundation. I really don't know, but I can definitely tell you that things like that go on. I know men that are cheaters, womanizers. I know men that have families on the other side of town and one over here too. I agree with you. I agree with all of that. But I would also say that is a bad man. He's a bad man. I am a woman that's been married 28 years and I've experienced none of that. I have results for the life that I've have here with my husband for 28 years, the life that we've built. I have results for it. And there's a lot of people that are just like me. My husband has never bought me any of that. No outside babies, no cheating. My husband and I are one. None of that. So guess what? I guess we're going to say now, I guess my husband is part of that 1%. Yes, he definitely is. He definitely is. But guess what? I happen to know there's a lot more of him than we give credit to. What we have is a sin problem. It's not necessarily a man problem. It's a sin problem. And the lack of us choosing to follow God is the problem. That's the problem. We don't operate with morals and standards anymore. Nobody care. But there are some of us that do. And I'm here to tell you, I am a woman. I'm the representation of the woman that she's looking for. That I will tell you, 28 years, no outside babies, no gambler, no drunken, not a drunkard. He wants the same thing that I want. And we both follow Christ. And we made a commitment, a covenant to each other and with God that this is what we're going to do. We're going to be an example. We're going to do his purpose. That's what we were. That's what we did. That's what we're doing. So it does exist. But guess what? I'm a believer. How do I get and have someone that doesn't believe, that has no idea who God is, but would give credit to science? Give credit to science, but you can't give credit to the creator who created the science. You know, who can believe that? And I'm just saying that it's real. Travel One, I'm just saying that it's real. Narcissism is real. Yes, it is real. You ought to see how many of these women in these comment sections be bullying me around. Talking about narcissism. You ought to be there. You ought to hear how they talk to me, Travel One. Go look at my comment section and get just a glimpse of the disrespect and the control that I get from women. Out of control women. You know, the woman in the beginning in the garden that needed to know more than God himself. That woman, the woman who is now cursed because of the need for her to know. That woman. It exists. And I'm only saying that because we have a sin problem. It's not necessarily a man nor a woman. We have good people and we have bad people. We need Christ. That's what we need. So when people speak on marriage, the marriage that I speak about is the one that is a covenant, where people are God-fearing people and they go and they believe in that higher power. They believe in Christ. We believe that we was born in sin. We believe without Christ we can't do jack. We actually believe that, and we believe and we practice every day, dying to ourselves, our selfishness. It has to go away. You know, this flesh right here, just always wanting what I want, me. We understand it, and we put it to test every day. Look, you're bad. You're wrong. Okay, this is what I want. I prefer that. Because I'm going to tell you why we want that, because that is good living. See, when you live like that, you can sleep at night. My husband ain't never had to worry about, did I get her pregnant? I ain't never had to worry about, did he have an STI? Or did anybody see me? For what? Because I know I'm at. I know who I am and I know what I'm doing. See, what happens is when you accept that relationship with Christ, your eyes are open. There's things that you start to get revelations of life and the way things should be. And it just begins to make sense. And right now, if you're operating outside of that realm, things are not making sense to you. That's why you're saying that, that's why you're creating this world where it's okay for women to go with each other and much. You know, and are you making statements that would say, okay, it's okay to have a broken home. It's okay. These kids don't need mama and daddy, not at the same time. Really? That is so far against what your purpose is to be here that it is very reckless to even say, because there will be someone that will grab a hold of it and be like, well, I'm good. And they do it all the time. They all in my comment section. But before I go on, Dr. Steele, I know you were there. You heard, and you know what? Remember that God defined the roles of both a husband and a wife. The husband is the lead, but also the husband must not be cruel to his wife. Princella said the wife is to deal with man's trauma. Listen, it ain't got to be this way. We all fall short every day. You don't have to deal with anybody's trauma. Listen, she also said that men are broken and women are whole.
They liars, bro. They liars.
Let me say that again. She also said, oh, Dr. Steele, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. She also said that men are broken and women are whole. Let me say this correctly. There are some broken men and there are some whole women. But just because you're a man don't make you broke. And just because you're a woman don't ensure that you're whole. Actually, if we want to just keep it all the way real, what we hear more about is women and their trauma, and men are very closed-minded, mouth and everything, which actually to me does state that there is some brokenness about it. But we're broken because we are born into a sinful nature, and for one reason, choices or what have you is what got us in this state. Because we all need that man that she talked about, you know, that man she talked about, that man that makes us better, which is Christ. We all need it. And until we realize we need it, we're going to be broke. But that's just not a man's problem. Well, mankind, but it ain't necessarily an MALE problem. It's a problem that we have. But women suffer trauma. We suffer trauma through relationships, not having our fathers in the home, having bad mothers, bad mother relationships, mother-daughter relationship. All of that can actually is what we grow up in that shapes us, that would make us see things incorrectly, man and woman. Now, most people get on me. I'm going to say get on me because you know how I go. Because I speak to women. I speak to women because I am a woman. And what I would like for women to do is to get it. There does need to be someone out there or a group of people, not just one, a lot of people out there that men can talk to, that men can share their ideas with, some men can share their thoughts with, so they're not broken and their thoughts are not selfish and of themselves. But listen, we're not supposed to live in any kind of situation that puts us in a traumatic situation or domestic violence or anything like that. Not at all. That's not marriage. That is not God-centered. That is not foundational. That is not principle-based. That's just two people hooking up and calling themselves married. There's nothing to that in my opinion. I know it goes on. And then I know that that's maybe the example of what we've had in the past. But this is why I say all the time, listen, y'all, I'm trying to be an example and show you all that it's more to life than that. You don't have to have that. You don't have to live that way. You can create your own reality within your marriage, but it's some things that you have to do. And it's a way it can be done that it can be very good, but it also can be bad. But you have to decide which one you want. You can cheat on your husband or your husband can cheat on you every day. That's going to be a terrible marriage. There's no foundation there. None. And they both are very much aware of what's going on. Right now to this day, there's some people that are very close to me that are operating in some type of love triangle that is so weird. I am fearful. And it seems like everybody knows about it and it's just okay. I mean, you got a husband and a wife. The husband, he's doing his own thing with his woman. You know, she catches him out in the world here and there at the Waffle House. You know, he gets on the motorcycles with his boys and she catches him at the Waffle House with his woman. But then she done got tired of seeing him at the Waffle House with his woman. Now she is got her own man, and with her own man, she doing her thing too. And I'm thinking to myself, but they all know each other, y'all. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? So guess what? The marriage itself is no longer. Everybody has definitely checked out on the marriage. There are no more vows. Everybody has broke the vows. The covenant is done if there ever was one. They are operating in total sin. Nothing is good about it. And I'm very fearful because listen, when you live in a sinful life and you're doing things you shouldn't do, anything can happen. Anything can happen anyway, but the odds go way up when you're unprotected. They go up. They definitely do. Let me read these super chats really quick. I think that's a Clement Gray. What are you saying? Women sometimes are creators of their own trauma. Clement, we make our own choices to do what we want to do. Absolutely, we can create out. If we pick the wrong man, knowing full well that man, if he was cheating on you before you married him, what in the world gonna make him different afterwards? You see, the instructional manual is there. If you abide by it and you give your life to this type of living, more than likely you'll get those results. But if you don't, or if you pick and choose, she talked about the pecking order a whole lot, but the pecking order starts with God, the creator. Then it's Jesus. That's the pecking order. That's the order of what we should be living in. Jonathan, how you doing, Jonathan? It's good to see you. She's feeding the devil's agenda. Also, the LGBT transformers mob with a Jezebel spirit. Just Miss Andre. I was a little bit disappointed last night that nobody mentioned anything about that. But again, thank you, Jonathan, for your $4.99 super chat. But again, it's hard to, as far as what Tim's responsibility is or was, if a person doesn't believe this instructional manual that we go by, this book that we believe in, it's almost like you're wasting your breath to tell them that, this is not what you should be doing, or this could lead to very bad consequences by doing this. It's almost like, why would you bother? Why would you bother? Just sow the seed, love on them, sow the seed, because you can't go around correcting everything someone's doing, even when they don't even, they don't know that she doesn't know what she's doing. She obviously doesn't know what she's doing. But it can get very dangerous, because I do know that women occasionally, it's looking like they hate men. And we all know that the love of God is for everybody, but there is also truth, which is very offensive, and could be very hurtful. So why we can't put the truth to it also? Why can't we give a little truth? And I guess that's kind of where I come in. People say I'm very hard sometimes. And they say things like, well, SB, you bash women. I never bash a woman, never. But I will give a woman the real hard truth. Just here it is. Here it is. And I don't see a reason why I shouldn't, because nobody else is saying it. Other people are covering it up. And when we cover up things, people don't change. I give the hard truth because I want people to change. I want people to do different things. I want people to see how I got here. I was a single mother. I needed to see how I got here. I needed to see what role I played in this life that I'm creating for myself that I don't want. I needed to see that. I couldn't see that with somebody rubbing me on my shoulder saying, it's okay, girl. It's okay. People, no. That's not good enough. Where was I? Spiritually and mentally, where was I? I needed to know, why was I at this all-time low? What was I needing? What was I looking for? Help me, God. Help me. Don't pat me on my back and tell me I'm okay. I made a huge decision that was not good for me. I don't want to ever make that decision, that type of bad decision again. Help me. Tell me the truth. Don't have me out here looking like a fool 4 kids later by myself. Me telling myself I'm good. I'm looking crazy. Can't comb my hair. Can't brush my teeth. Can't take care of 4 kids because I can't do this by myself. I'm looking and feeling like I'm about to jump off a cliff. I'm mentally tired and done. At any time I could walk out this house and leave everybody in it. And guess what? Lots of times women do that. But see, that's because we're playing a game. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Don't play that game with me. Turn me around. Direct me the way I should go. Hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings. Get me some help. Help me go lay on somebody's couch and tell them, so I can tell them, and so they can tell me, how did I get here? Don't play games with me. This is my life. I don't want to walk out this house. I don't want to leave 4 babies in the house and go down the street shopping because I need a break, because my mind is so twisted. I don't know which direction I'm going in. Then now this house blows up. The house is on fire. And then 2 of those babies are now gone. Don't allow me to do that. Y'all, we can't allow people to do that. And somebody somewhere is like, that ain't your business. Let them know it is my business. It is. Because I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen to anyone. But if we keep playing this game like everything goes and everything's okay, that's where we're going. That's the route we take. You know, it is. And then if we're going to say, okay, well, you know, women are whole. I would love for every woman I run into to be whole. But the reality of it is we're not. If you don't have God in the center of your life, you ain't whole. You ain't even trying to be there. If you can't even acknowledge that that's what you need, you're not whole. If you can't even acknowledge your sinful nature, you nowhere near being whole. If you still out here scamming, telling lies, making this about money, equating marriage to cleaning up a house, you're nowhere near being whole. And if you're not whole, how in the world can you lead somebody else to being whole? How can you even say that these people are whole? I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not bashing. This is this truth. I want you to be whole. I want everybody to be whole so we can make good decisions and have a good, productive life and community where we do have good support systems. Whereas if I do have 2 kids and the man ran out on me, then I'll still have somebody to help me. And listen, there are still some support systems, but not enough. There was not one there 2 months ago or a year ago when that little girl had to go to the store and was gone for 2 hours, and her child and her children house blew up. 2 of them died. She had no support system, y'all. I think we're about 30 minutes. We're a little over 30 minutes into the show. We are now turning off the Facebook. So Facebook, please come on over here and join the show. Thank you so much for doing that. Stop Black. I go say, hey, Bethany, how you doing? Trey, the community is dead. Let's see what Travel One is saying. I'm gonna get back to it, y'all. She's talking to Mr. Gilbert, but I'm gonna be in y'all business just a little bit. She said Adam was lonely. God saw that, and Eve was the prize. Adam was obsessed with Eve. He couldn't say no to her. He didn't follow God's instruction. He is to blame. Actually, he was the one to blame. God blamed him first. Yeah, he was the leader. You're right about that. I don't know about the obsession part. I actually think that he was maybe a little bit turned off because I think the first thing he said was, God, that was the woman you gave me. It don't seem like he was real proud of her at that time, but hey, who knows? We went there. I can only imagine. Y'all can think of all the mindset. See, we would never get it right. I'm going to tell you why, because we're not God. So we're not going to get it right. We can make up all the different stories and scenarios we want because we're thinking with our own brains, with our own lives, how we have encountered different people, our rights and our wrongs. So we can come up with all the different scenarios. It could be funny. It could be serious. It could be whatever we want it to be. But what we do know is he did say, God, this is the woman you gave me. Like, why? I was fine by myself. How about that? So we're not going to know, but I myself just be sitting up thinking about why, Lord, why? Adam didn't ask for Eve was my point. Listen, you're right. God said you're right. You're right. But it's just so, again, y'all, we were not there. And listen, I can't wait to the day. Y'all think God gets to sit down? Me and God get to sit down. He can tell us again. Because remember, he done gave us the end and the beginning all together. We know all the whole story, right? We already know the end. So it's like, it's amazing to be able to sit and, God, yeah. But anyway, we could just have the instructional manual right now, Mr. Gilbert, and we'll read up on it, and we could just create our own little individual stories or how it went down. Because I have some, y'all. I can have y'all laughing right now, and you be like, SB, where you get that from? I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. Tim is down with the Alphabet Mafia, SB. Is he? Oh my gosh. Clement, cut that out. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. You better stop. I have no idea anything about that. I actually know him to know the word, and he gives a very good message. He has a good ministry. But I do know that he is not the man to offend. And I actually liked something he did in the show last night. And we're going to get to that part too. I actually liked it a lot because no matter how much we debate or not debate, that's not really the word. No matter how often we think different or we get offended by what someone says, or we just have a different point of view, the main thing is what he actually brought her to. And I actually absolutely love that. So when he did that, I was screaming and hollering in the house. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's go ahead, Mr. Boss. We're going to play a little bit more of the video.
In men saying that they want to be with women in the same house, of course. But when I say,
Let me just say this, that it's not good that man should be alone. It's not just a marital statement. That's a relational statement.
well, that's period.
Because that's on period. Like
Yeah.
humanity can't be alone. We were made
well,
to be in relationship with each other.
No. We weren't made to be in relationships. The male is made to be in a relationship. But see, there's a difference between a relationship and a partnership. I'll talk about that in a minute. But men experience inflammation when they're alone. This is not the same thing that occurs in women.
So could that be possible that if a man experiences inflammation when he's alone, then that means he will be incentivized to potentially be with a woman?
Correct. So that's why I have a book called 41 Shades of Men, The Pursuit to Subdue and Use You. Men need women.
So anyway, y'all heard all that, right? So again, it's hard to have a discussion with someone that is not a believer and you are a believer, because the purpose of Adam and Eve was to be together in relationships, first example of marriage, to procreate and, be fruitful and to just continue to over and over again fill the earth. So that was our job from the very beginning. So that is relationship. Trey, going back to what you said, yes, he knew, ultimately he knew what she was going to do. He did. That's how God gave us this free will. She is the leader. He was the leader. Whatever he needed to do. In other words, how about this, Trey? As a leader, he didn't have to partake with her. Even though she made the mistake of doing so, he didn't have to go along with it. So in other words, I guess it kind of goes back to what Travel One is saying. Maybe he loved her so much he wanted to partake also, because he definitely did. So at that point, then he was held responsible. And then also he said, that is the woman that you gave me. So it's all, Trey, I wasn't there. Very confusing. I would love to know, because I don't have the mind of God. I only got a little bit with the idea that my little brain can hold all of everything that this entity has created in knowledge of all time, space, and matter. Come on. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't handle it. What he gives me, including the free will, is more than enough. Let me work that out. I believe on it because it confirms the instructional manual that he did leave with us, confirms itself daily. And even if you question the fact that it is real, whoever it was or whatever it was that translated this thing, just think about how spiritually, how powerful they are spiritually, that they could translate something from millions of years ago to now, put it in a book over 500 years ago, and that book is still right now being demonstrated today. That's still something that I say, okay, look, I'm down with that. So however you want to squeeze it, make it not real or whatever. Again, it's hard to share with you the things of God because you don't have that vision. You're not a believer. If you are not, I'm not talking about you particularly, Trey. I'm just saying, period. So I can't even give you everything that God has given me. And I'm still wanting and desiring more. So I have to leave it there. There's a mystery to all of this. There's a mystery to me and Mr. Boss becoming one. I know it's real though. How I got here, I couldn't explain it to you, but I know it's real. I also do know that our choices is what dictates our life. And I also know this is straight from Bolo right here. Bolo says, look, how does he say it? Bolo says, the way you see things, the way you living is the way you see things. The way I see things, my eyes are wide open. I see things crystal clear. But if you're not living this way, it might be a little murky. You might not be able to see, things as easy as I do. So, it's like that. But Black, I wanted to say something to you. Majors, Jonathan. It just says that he is going, I don't know about this Corey guy, but Jonathan's now going through the court case. And they, I think, now getting ready to make a decision on whether he's guilty or not. There is evidence that Jonathan was running away, but there's also evidence that he might have, that he kind of held her up and, might have knocked her out too. So we're going to figure out about Jonathan Majors and we might bring it here. But hopefully justice is served and everybody tells the truth, but it is also evidence that she is a known liar. So hopefully the truth will come out. Hopefully. So we're going to talk about that when, hopefully when we get some answers. And Anissa, how are you, Anissa? It's called luck. You call it divine. You can't knock out somebody who is chasing you. Well, no. It said he knocked her out in the back seat of the car. Not knocked her out, but hit her in the car. But he did get out running and she did run behind him. So Trey, you're exactly right. So we're going to see. Hopefully everything works out and I hope everybody tells the truth. But again, you make choices. Choices come with consequences. You have to be careful of the choices that you make. Miss M, Adam and Eve reacted to the lie. They chasing you. Wait a minute. Adam and Eve reacted to the lie. They were not proactive. Right. Well, you know what? Miss M, let me tell you something. I mean, this is me now in this brain that I have here right now in 2023. I'm always trying to imagine what they were feeling, thinking, and you know, what they were going through. I'm imagining myself being with God. He's saying, look, you and your man, y'all got the men over all of this. All this belongs to you. You control it. It's yours. Do your thing. And then I'm sitting here telling Adam, look, this apple good. I'm just using apple for an example. Y'all don't get mad at me. Just go with the story. This apple good, baby. It's tasty. But God told us not to eat none of that. He ain't gonna know. He know everything. Didn't he go over the instructions? You know, I can imagine this conversation and me gonna eat this apple. Why was that apple so good? Why did I need to eat it? What is it that I needed to know? The man of the Spirit of God was there. It was over everything. He gave, I'm sure, I know for a fact there was demonstration of the power of the authority that he had given them. There was demonstration every single day of to what I was responsible for as Eve. I know that it was. I know. But for some reason, I still needed to taste this apple. My mind is not allowing me to figure this thing out. So I'm just having to just shake my head and just wonder. And then, you know, I can imagine because y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I probably could get Mr. Boss to do some things that he probably normally wouldn't do on his own. I could probably be like enticing. Come on, baby, this apple good. It's sweet, you know. And then he look at me like, for real. But where you get it from, I don't even worry about where I got it from. You want it or not? You know, can y'all imagine? You know, I done lied to my man and had him eating up on this apple that I know where I got it from. I know that I was wrong for getting it. But I'm thinking, ain't nothing gonna happen. And I did it anyway. And it changed life just instantly. Everything changed. I'm sitting up there naked. Y'all, Mr. Boss is so crazy. Oh my God, you're so crazy. Listen, Miss M, I know they had everything. Do you hear it? They fell for the lie. But Miss M, what lie could somebody tell me when I have demonstrations all day long of how good this, you know, that flesh gets you. It gets you. And then now I know I'm naked. So anyway, y'all, let's continue.
Them because this is the way they're wired. What is the manifestation for the woman aside from the men and aside from babies?
In terms of what? Because you're asking specifically for a question, because at the end of the day, the feminine, the woman's brain has the ability to communicate between both hemispheres, create plans. She has the ability to communicate at a high level, right? It's all a creative leadership energy. Okay. So when you talk about women, they should be free, right? Okay. To create, right? Okay. They should be free to create. And what happens is this, which is the head, and this, which is the doer, this submits to this and takes instruction to be able to lead his life in the right direction. The male doesn't tend to have any direction on his own. He needs somebody to give him direction. So typically,
All right, another lie. Now, see, it upsets me when people just let people tell lies, but I'm gonna bring Prototype up here because I want him to add to this, because this video, she said a whole lot, y'all. Hey, Prototype, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me well?
I can. Let me say this, and then I want to get your opinion. Y'all, I can't lie to y'all. I am a woman, been married 28 years. When I met my husband 28 years ago, the man had a plan. The plan had nothing to do with me. He was going to be this person, whether I was his wife or not. So that is a lie. Men have plans. I am a woman. I have told y'all several times, I will have a goal to do something, do it for about 10 years, master it, and I'm on to the next. If it's 10, this is me as a woman. You give me 5 or 10 years at something, let me master it. I'm on with the next. But my husband, this is the man I know, had a plan, stuck to this plan, and is that plan to this day. To this day. So the fact that she would say men don't have a plan and they don't do anything unless you tell them what to do, that is an error. You know, and I'm not even going to say because I do things the way that I do. I'm sure that there are women out there who can create a plan and stick to it. But me, for an example, my husband is the one who has a plan and has walked it completely out. So I can't take that away from MALEs because they do have plans and they are very goal oriented. And that's what I see in men. I know all of them are not. There are good and bad people in both genders. We gotta stop tripping. Prototype, what you think about this?
Man, this was a Hardlyinitiated's platform. You know, they do these 4-hour streams.
I know. I've been on there.
I've seen you on there. Congrats to you. I've seen you on there, man. And I've never watched a full stream until yesterday. And
I don't see how you did that because I was like,
because I'm waiting for Tim Ross to shut down the devil, and he never did. At every turn, he cried with her. He made sure she was warm. He made sure the devil was comfortable. And at every turn, she spit in his face. At every time he tried to show anything.
Well,
and I'm like, when are you going to say you are wrong? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there it was just the anticipation of like, bro, like, you're a pastor. Like, you should have been licking your chops at the opportunity to face the devil and say, get behind me, Satan. I'm sitting there waiting on it the whole stream. I'm like, yo, is he like the moderators got? They were
like biting at the top.
Wait a minute, like, hold on, like, Tim, you're not gonna say nothing.
You're gonna just let her say that. You are exactly right. But listen, Prototype, I think, okay, let's just be honest. Let's just be real. I agree with what you're saying, but do you think that some of that, and I'm with you. And Bolo and I talk about it too. Bolo and I were both talking about, we was all saying the same thing as you're saying. Why you didn't shut it down? But this is it. Let me say this. I agree totally with you. But do you think that because we're in this space and we're so used to this salacious drop the mic moments that we anticipated to go that way?
No.
Not at all. You don't think so?
No.
I
looked at this like after they gained understanding, like after he got understanding of what her purpose was and how she functioned and what her thinking was, that was the moment to say, like, because I mean, for a minute I was like all stunned too, like trying to figure out what is she getting to.
Oh, she was just not getting to anything. She was just trying to express her knowledge of science and natural order, which, again, it's very difficult to be a believer and speak to somebody that is not a believer, because it's almost like you're talking to a wall, because it's obvious going in that they don't understand what you're saying. So it's almost like, okay, so how do I tell a person that doesn't believe this that they're wrong?
It's incredibly hard. Right.
So that's what he's up against.
Right. And it's almost a lose-lose because your grounds are not the same. And I highly disagree with that post right there, because I don't think TG would have did anything either. Like,
no, he would have called out a bit more.
You would hope so. You would hope so, right? And if that pairing was to happen, I would watch it for the same reason.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would do it, right? I kind of lost respect for T. I don't want to get completely off, but I lost respect for him because when he was on that platform and Ace jumped on, he got
Oh,
disrespectful.
okay.
And I'm like, you do that to a man's face. You don't do that over the internet.
Okay, you're talking about Tony, not Tim.
I'm talking about Tony. I'm talking about
gotcha.
Tony.
I got you.
So that's why I'm saying I don't necessarily think that TG would have shut it down either. I would hope so, right? These guys that are, so-called leaders in the cloth, or leaders in our spirituality, right? You would hope that they would stand up and be like, and shut this down. And that's what took me so long, just sitting there waiting. I was like, all right, now that we got the grip, you understand her now, and you tell her she's close to God.
Well, but wait a minute. I don't think I deny that part. And reason why I say that is because when you're searching for something, listen to what he said. She's actually looking for something. Listen, I don't agree with the way he did it exactly either, because I was waiting for him to shut it down or be the opposer to some of the things she was saying about marriage and so on. So I agree with you totally there. But the way that he said she painted the picture of this man that needs to be over men to actually get men to the highest point of who they need to be, which is Jesus, was excellent. So in regard to that, I give him points for that, because that is actually the answer. And if she gave him that visual, because the reality of it is, I'm looking at him and he looked quite confused, because she just did a whole lot of talking. And
she did. And then even when he came to that, she still spit in his face like, nope, that's not what I mean. That's cute for you.
She say that?
Yeah, she said that's cute for you.
Oh,
but that ain't what it is over here.
But my point I'm trying to make, when he went on to say, when he says the statement of that this is close to God, is because when you're searching for something, when you search for something, typically then you will find the answer, whether you're ready to submit or not. So actually, she found the answer. She did.
It was so far from God. She's so far away from God. It's not even simple.
She is really not. Just think about it. Those people that are the broken. She is so broken.
I'm thinking about it, and I listen.
She has no choice.
She is miles away from God. Not even. She smirked at it like, clown.
But she has no choice. Think about it though. If she sincerely, okay, we just have to see it play out. That man sowed a major seed. I'm agreeing with you on the opposition. I do think it should have been more pushback onto what God says. But how do you speak to a person that has no idea what you're talking about what is right? It just doesn't make sense. But the fact that he said that she painted a picture, and she actually did, when she says this about men, and men need this for the pecking order, that was Jesus. And he
post Michelle's latest.
I'm sorry.
I think that would be a worthy opponent to her.
Who?
Candace Owens. I think she would eat her up.
But again, how do you eat somebody up when they don't believe? She's not opposing.
Because I think Candace Owens will come enough with sound doctrine and facts, and not try to make her feel comfortable. They were all about making that girl feel comfortable.
But it's not doctrine that Candace would have to hit her with. Candace would have to hit her with this worldly stuff. She would have to. She would. I'm gonna tell you what she would have to hit her with. She have to hit her with the fact that there are so many women out here that are single mothers. Why is that? If they got the pecking order correct, she would have to hit her on stuff that she pushes. That's the only way. And all of it is foul and crazy. So are you saying that a woman, she would have to hit her on her talking points, which is all worldly, has nothing to do with what she actually needs? That's what Candace would have to hit her on. You can't hit her on doctrine because she doesn't follow it. She doesn't believe in it. I've already said a million times, science is an observation of what God has created. Now, if you notice, and you've been hearing Princella throughout these months she's been here, when she first started, I ain't never heard her say anything about a creator, and men had no ability to love. Now I'm talking about a creator. And there is 1% of men. So you have to see.
That came out like, yeah, it's 0.1%. She said.
Okay, but she has also but listen, but she never talked about in this particular video how she actually lives her life. This young lady was a scammer. She talks about, I'm not letting anybody off the hook. She never should experience domestic violence. Her dad should have never hit her mom in the nose, or all those terrible things that she has gone through. And there was trauma. But she also said back in 2016, she was all about a man. So if this is so real, And she's married. See, that's what you have to hit her on if you're trying to defeat her. I don't think that Tim is trying to defeat her. I think he wants to win her soul to Christ. She's
not there. She's not there for that.
It's not something that you automatically want to do.
You're not winning her. You're not winning her. So look,
I don't know about that.
His sheep is called. Like, you know what I mean? God knows his sheep, and she not one of them. You know what I mean? She know where she going, man. And
you think so?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like God.
Hey, wait a minute.
God
So you
selected, you know, and
yeah.
like she is standing firm in what she is and who she is. I mean, that's Jezebel's spirit to the utmost.
So what you're saying is the best that someone could do would be to inform her followers that they're headed down that same road.
That's it. You're not, the only way you can save her is by rebuking that girl. That's it. There is no making her feel comfortable enough to, you know what I'm saying, to make her, you know, you can't love her to Jesus. You're gonna have to rebuke her to Jesus.
Well, I would never say that. I don't know. God gives the grace. I can never say that. But T-Shaw, you were exactly right. She specifically said she is not serving a God we call a man. And guess what, though? T-Shaw, a lot of people have that issue. God is an entity. Jesus is the man. So you see, y'all, listen, I hope that that she comes to some better knowledge. God gives the grace. I can't say what he is and is not going to do, but I am with you. Prototype, there was not enough opposing of the things that she was just saying that was incorrect. But guess what, though? You and I are believers. So it's going to look crazy and feel crazy and sound crazy. And we're going to be skirming. And you as a man, you're going to be like, what? I got a plan. I take care of my house. You're going to be fussing at the TV. And I'm going to be like.
I was there. I took it as, like I said, I was there to watch a believer say, "Get behind me, Satan." And it didn't happen. And that's what I'm truly disappointed in. That's why I was there.
Wow. I believe you and I agree with you. It did not. But I do think Jesus was introduced. I'm glad he came up. That is, a savior is what we need. And he did make the point of men and women. So I got to give him a plus for that. But I'm with you. We needed more Satan get behind us. I agree. But guess what? I know you don't like to sit there and watch Hardlyinitiated for 2 and 3 hours, but SB's going to be there on Sunday. And I'm going to need you to sit there and watch it for 2 or 3 hours, or I need you to be in the background or somewhere cheering me on. And guess what? Listen, Satan ain't going to be nowhere around me. I'm going to be bigging up God, bigging up women and men and marriage. So you already know.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All of the dysfunction in this world, which comes by way of the nature of the male, which all of the economic philosophies come out of. Capitalism comes out of the nature of males, which is about hoarding resources and competition and dominating the small guy. This is what this is based on. So either we're trying to fix the world or we just trying to keep things the same.
I just had a revelation.
Okay, cool. Let's talk to Tim. Let's talk to Tim right now. We're going to let Pastor Tim hop up on the mic real quick.
Come on,
Pastor. What's the
Tim.
revelation?
I just had a whole revelation.
What's that?
And I got to give you credit because you have allowed my brain to completely unlock. Niggas is broke, right? This is the premise of the whole conversation. Is niggas is broken. They're 180 triangle lopsided niggas. They ain't whole. The women are whole. The men are not whole. The men need a man to set the pecking order so that they can be controlled by a man. And once controlled by that man, they find their North Star, and then they can be the man they actually need to be. Then and only then should they come into some connection with a woman.
Correct. Because they will not do it. They will destroy anything that they touch if they are not constructed the right way.
Dap me up.
Okay. So hold on.
No. Let me cook.
Let him cook.
I gotta cook.
Let him cook.
Because I know who that man is.
Who's the man?
It's Yeshua. That's why he was born male.
Well,
based on what you're saying,
he was
the reason why he was born male
to talk
was
to men.
To talk to men, to fix those men,
Correct.
point them to their true North
Correct.
Star, and that way they know how to interact with a woman and maybe.
All right. So at that point right there was when he definitely introduced Jesus. I am going to bring street media up and we're going to talk about this for a minute. Now, the one thing that I think he missed is that I think he should have said he was born man for mankind. Jesus is here. He's our savior, woman and man, just not men, M-A-N as in males, but for everybody. That part he missed me on, but I was glad that he got Jesus in there somewhere. So street media, what are you thinking? How are you doing, sir?
How you doing? See, I think that this was important. I was just telling my wife's mother because she watches Hardlyinitiated a lot.
Go lady, what's her name?
Diane.
Miss Diane, you got to be there on Sunday, 5:00.
yeah, she watches it all the time. She probably know who you are. I sent her this live.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, but I was telling her, I said, listen, a lot of times, saints, believers don't look at things outside of the church. They're not watching the world, like other stuff. So
very true.
It's important that like she's been on other platforms where she was challenged and her information was smashed. I debated her for 20 minutes on a platform one time. She's not new. So a lot of these talking points, these old white men that she used, we already know where those books come from. I come from the pro-black community, so I studied this stuff. So when she comes to us, we see her coming. So you're talking about men using men's talking points. Like
right. It's
non-cipher. It doesn't make any sense. So what happens is a lot of people is mad at Tim. I'm not mad at Tim. I wanted people on that platform to see, especially a lot of saints. I want y'all to see just how our people are thinking nowadays, especially with the internet. This is the way a lot of these young girls are thinking. Now, we don't know if her traumatic experiences is true or false, because on YouTube, you could be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. You don't have to prove anything.
Right.
All you have to do is cater to people's pain and be the YouTube therapist. And people come on there, study people's triggering points, and just come on there and play to it, and you gain a following. That's just the world we in. So now when we preaching from the pulpit or we evangelizing to people to save souls, we gotta listen to these people because we need to see where their mindset is, so that way we can know how to attack it. We got to know how to attack it. So a lot of times when people say, well, Tim should have did this or he should have did that. No, you in your own ego because you're trying to win. I'm not trying to win. Christ already did it for us. All we got to do is sit back and listen. And then when she's finished, we just go keep teaching what we've been teaching. But a lot of people need to see the way that these people are thinking, because our people are being manipulated.
Yes,
to thinking a certain way based off of our traumas, and we're getting farther and farther out of alignment in Christ. This is what's happening.
True.
And I always tell the church, like, listen, we got the Bible, but we got to look outside too, because the Bible is your sword, but you got to understand how the Satan is coming.
He's coming. And I'm not so much mad at Tim either, but because I'm glad he was able to introduce Jesus. And I don't know if you were here a little bit ago, when I asked Prototype a little early on when he came, do you think the fact that this space is so salacious is the reason why we wanted to be so opposing to what was going on, or wanted to like get behind me, Satan? Is that why we went in with that attitude? Because I too wanted him to correct her. But again, if she's not a believer, how are we? What she don't believe? She doesn't even see what we see. So what good is it?
And there's a season for everything. See, this is the thing. What I got from that, this was for the saints, not for her. Let her come on there and dance and shuck and do everything she want to do. Let the believers get an outstanding understanding for what's going on out here. So when we trying to save souls, we understand what we up against. Like we want to go and beat down everything, and sometimes it takes away from the message. We need to let our people see the thought process of these people.
Right.
Let it play out. So the thing is, a lot of people missed it. When she was explaining, I pay attention well. When she was explaining her traumas, if you go back to the video, at the point when she was explaining her trauma, she was about to cry. She got real shaky.
Yes.
Right?
She did. Mm-hmm.
What she did was she regathered and got herself. When her audience in the crowd was saying, well, Tim's tears were fake, what she did was she couldn't go and say, well, I thought that you were sincere, because she has to play the role, the character that she's in. She has to play the role that the man is the bad guy. And I don't know if his tears are real or fake, but if you watch her an hour prior to that, she was about to cry. She was about to break because she's playing y'all. A lot of y'all never seen her video when she was, she has, if you go on her channel, she has a video where she's talking to women about what's the girl that was killed in Texas at the police station. They took the picture of her, the black woman.
In the back seat of the car was in the police. I know you're talking about, right? I tell a lot of women because people. This is the thing, right? I asked her. She got a videos right on her channel where she's saying that this woman was wrong and the police was right, right? Yeah, she sides with all Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland.
Yeah, Sandra Bland. She said Sandra Bland was wrong. Sandra Bland was a big mouth black woman. It's on video. It's not me making it up. This is the way she talked. Y'all have to see the other side of her personality. And whenever she deal with women that disagree with her, the monster, the dragon comes out. So sometimes I'm telling a lot of us with our egos, just sometimes be quiet. It's a season for everything. Let people talk so that way they can show you who they are. And after that, man, the spirit works itself. You ain't got to do anything. They'll talk themselves into it.
I definitely agree with you. Again, I did want him to oppose her more because I am a believer, and you just don't want nobody to talk about Christ like that. You're people, you believe and your eyes are open, you have a revelation. But again, I was so thankful that he was able to introduce Jesus. And if you go back and listen to this part we just played on this video, right after he said Yeshua, Jesus, she fumbled up then too. She got a little bit bumbly in her voice then too, because she didn't know what direction she was, because he was like, you talking about it needs a man. And see, she didn't know he was going to Jesus, but those who are believers knew that he was talking about Jesus from the moment he said, so you say they need a man, they need someone to follow. So the pecking order, everybody who believed knew that was Jesus. Everybody who believed and understood knew Jesus was coming next, but she didn't. And when he said what he said, then she got a little caught up then.
Because
she got a little caught up at that point.
I felt the way you felt yesterday. I felt like he should have got at it a little more, but then the Holy Spirit told me, no, just chill, be quiet, let it play out the way it's playing out. Because I would challenge the people that don't like what she's saying, especially a lot of these young women that do like what she's saying. How many of y'all know the people, the books that she used and those names that she names when she's dealing in science? How many of y'all even know what she's talking about? Who are these people? Have you even studied these people? Or are you just listening to what she's saying and following? So sometimes what I'm saying is sometimes it's good to just let a person talk. Let a person talk because they are already defeated. Especially when they come up against the kingdom, it's already a loss. So I don't have to get in part. If I want him to attack her so much, now I'm in my ego. I don't have to do that. All I got to do is be quiet, listen to her talk, and just he could dissect it a little bit, but she was already defeating herself in the way that she was speaking. And that's what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, if we listen, the whole thing was she was promoting lesbianism. She's been doing it since the beginning, since she came into these platforms. On that platform, because she knew that she was on it with faith people, she didn't really go delve in too much, but you should see on other platforms where she says that women should be with women. Women shouldn't be with men. She says this boldly with her chest out. She says it. And I would just implore the people that she talked about the Aquarian age. Like, we got to learn, we got to study and listen. What does that mean when you hear people say that? The Aquarian age is the time of truth. We're in the automation age where they have machines. They don't need you to make babies no more. They don't need the nuclear family anymore. So they push those letter crews out in front, and they push these people out to the front. And they push Christ to the back. So sometimes you got to be quiet and listen. Listen to what her agendas are. She says no nuclear family. Who's she siding with?
Yeah, it's not necessary.
And all this kind of stuff. All those feminine groups that say that none of it is surrounded by actual family, man, woman, and child.
Right.
None of it is. So,
and then she also made the point, would not answer the question about, listen, a lot of what she says, and I don't hate to say this because this is something I truly believe in. As women, we do need to elevate ourselves. We do need to align ourselves with what God wants us to be. If we want to be wives, we need to be women, ladies, and wives, if that's what we actually want. So we definitely need to elevate ourselves. We need to change our thought processes. We can't be single-minded people going into marriage. There's some work that needs to be done. So I agree with her when she tells a woman to elevate herself. But she used a little bit of the truth and then sprinkle all that other junk on top of it. And then a woman could get quite confused because it's like, what is right and what is wrong. And then when she was asked the question, if I'm elevating myself and I'm following Christ and I'm aligning myself to be that wife, if I do find a man that does has a plan, he's a God-fearing man, a believer, and he does exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's demonstrated all that to me, can I marry him? Is marrying what, okay? And she would not answer that question. What she came back with after million times, the third, fourth time being asked, well, it all depends on what that woman wants in marriage. Huh? What do you mean?
Yeah, but she's part of the. Y'all gotta look at what's happening. They're pushing this thing now where being a baby mom is cool. You can have a baby and don't have to be with the man.
Right.
They're normalizing the unnormal. So, and she's one of the ones at the forefront. And it's not just by color, because she's just a black woman that's talking to black women. You have white women talking to white women. They're all pushing this agenda. I've been teaching this stuff for the last 5 years, seen it coming. It's all part of the 2030 agenda. Look on the 2030 agenda for sustainment, where it talks about empowerment for women. Read it. It's right there, the UN 2030 agenda. And when you read it, you're going to see it verbatim. You'll be like, dang, the problem is our people don't study nothing. So now when Satan come in the room, you're not equipped. You don't know how to fight him. You don't know how to fight him. You have to study.
So it's the UN 2030 agenda.
UN 2030 agenda, and look at it's going to talk about the development for women and girls, and it's going to talk about certain things that's happened to women all over the world. And why you see these things in the movies now, where they got women playing traditional men roles, being strong, beating up men, they're conditioning women to believe that they can do all things that men do. This is all psyops, and they're reversing the roles. So you do it through media. It was an operation that was discovered in 1977 called Operation Mockingbird. It's not me making it up as a CIA op.
I've actually heard of that, but I want to ask you a question. And the condition is going on the program, and we see it all the time. You're right. And then it comes through media, songs, movies. You're exactly right. But what is the solution to this? Or where are our leaders? Where's the man right now? What is he doing?
Well, Dr. Amos Wilson told us years ago that the black woman is out of control because the man is under control. We've lost our way. We've lost our identity. See, you got to remember, like what I teach on my channel, I've been married to a black woman for 20 years. I have a son. When a boy is born from out of a womb of a woman, you don't wait till he's 16, 17 to teach him manhood. He has to be taught manhood, sacrifice, and commitment from the top and raised up into manhood. Because marriage and family is not something that's promised to you like life or death. It's something you got to fight for in this system. It's a sacrifice, it's a commitment. If a young man doesn't know the importance of his progeny and his role to a community, he's going to be dangerous. He's going to be dangerous to anything until he gets in alignment with the Holy Spirit. That's just what it is.
I agree with that.
She mixed that in, but she doesn't mix in all the other parts. So when she's not in the church realm, and she's dealing with people that understands the sciences and the history, she loses, because every name she named, we already know what that is. We know what angle she's coming from. I understand the sciences. That's all garbage. So I always tell people, if you study Operation Mockingbird, it shows you how they use media and everything to alter the way you think. So now your thoughts don't become your thoughts. That's why Romans 12:2 is important. You must renew your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. 2 Corinthians 6:17 says you must come out from amongst them and be set. But you have to know you got to come out from amongst them. But you got to study. You have to study.
So listen, we have Trey. Are you trolling? Or are you asking a genuine question? He says here, men are the problem. When I ask the question about what men are doing, I advocate for men, but I'm wanting to know in the writing, in the 2030 agenda, where are the men? And also right now, what are the men doing? Is there some way, or is there someone that is saying, as a man, we need to do this? Who can the men follow? Where can we get the information? Listen, I'm a follower of Christ. I know that's what we got to go, but we got to get them to that, because that's the answer. So how do they conduct themselves? Because we are out of control. We are looking for more leaders.
You have to follow people that are like-minded.
Right.
Like-minded. This is the problem. There's millions of men around the world that thinks the way that I think. The problem is we're not the loudest in the room. The loudest in the room are the people that's out of alignment. Those are
Right.
the ones that's being promoted. Satan is the god of the airwaves. He controls all of this stuff. So he's going to promote. He's going to promote all the debauchery and everything else. Most like, if I guarantee you, your husband, he's not online. He's a working man that just, he does what he do every day. People don't see him. He just do the work.
Right.
He just does the work. The problem is saints have to be called to take a stand, and we have to be more visible. So that way you have to put the clean glass next to the dirty glass. We exist, but I've been on YouTube for years. The stuff that I talk about, I can't get a major following because of what I talk about.
Wow, you have said nothing. Listen, I agree so much with you because I say the same thing. You are exactly right. The saints do need to stand up. And I've been saying this for 2 years. I've only been here 2 years, that me and my husband, because my husband is the person that is behind the camera. He's the dearly beloved and all of that. We are going to be the examples. 2 years ago, it was a gender war. Now we talking nothing but marriage. I mean, the fact that in my opinion, I want to say that I had a big role in the fact that we're talking about God right now in these platforms, so it's changing. So we got to keep that momentum going. We cannot let it just go by the wayside. So whoever you got to talk to, what have you.
I think the first step we have to go back to understanding why we're in this situation. And I'm not going back biblically, because if I go back biblically, because I heard people talk about Adam and Eve biting the apple and they was blaming it on Eve. And they said, well, God is the all-knower. Well, God is the all-knowing. And God is also the creator of good and evil.
Yes.
He allows us to go through things because we came here to experience good and evil. So when she did it, it was already known that she was going to do it. We are here to experience good and evil, to understand who we are in Christ, to wake up. You came here to wake up, to live a life abundantly. So things that do happen is supposed to happen to you. So that part, but when we get down to where we at as a people, this is the problem. What I said, it's not the fact that it's men's fault or women's fault. We've been in a system where we've totally lost a whole thorough knowledge of stuff of who we are. Boys, and I say this, boys are not raised to be men in the system that we live in. We're not raised. Dr. Nelly Fuller teaches us this. In this system, a black man is still a boy. He doesn't see, most of these young men are not raised to be men. When their mothers and fathers are coming together, we deal with a lot of trauma. We come together in trauma bond, make children, and these children are not raised to understand what their commitment is to the community. We don't carry the legacy of our great-grandparents. We're nothing like them. Nothing like them. Just think about it. When we talk about history in our generation, right? I'm 48 years old. We talk about history in our generation. I skip my dad's generation and go right to my grandparents' generation.
Yes, you absolutely do.
And Malcolm X on back. That gap in between, we don't even. So then I often ask, what are they going to say about us in the next 30 years? Because the children, the boys that are being raised up now are not being taught to understand what manhood is, sacrifice and commitment, and the love for each other. So we say, well, the men got to do this. Well, no, we have to recognize what the problem is. And the reason why we can't recognize what the problem is, because we're outside of the alignment of God. God already gave us what the alignment is. We understand what we're up against, but the way to bring it back, the reason why I don't cheat on my wife and I don't abuse my wife, because I fear God more.
Absolutely.
I understand who I am in Christ.
Absolutely. So listen, Street Media, listen, we got to continue this message on. I appreciate you so much. Can you shout out your channel? Tell us where we can come to actually support and hear the message that you're putting out there. And definitely you're welcome here at any given time. I come on live Tuesdays and Sundays. What's that? Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. And you're welcome here, but I definitely want you to shout out your channel, because this is the first time I've heard of you. And I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, my channel is Street Media TV.
Okay.
Over there. For years, I had 4 channels. I talked for years about this, but every time I would do channel, they would either take the channels down or they would suspend me for a week.
You real radical, huh?
If I talked about these agendas and I tied it back into the Bible, man, they would come after you. They would demonetize you. So what I did was I started talking about celebrity gossip, but I put the same message in there. Because I figured if I come down and go to where the backsliders are and put the same message, I can camouflage it. So I start doing that. In street media, because that's the only way you're going to get the people, because that's where they are. You know, unfortunately. But Street Media TV is my channel. That's the channel I have operating. I also have a nonprofit, Urban Nerds Foundation. I have that channel where we work with inner city youth here in Philadelphia. And you know, I work with the babies. We're working with changing the mindset of the children. We believe if you change the way that they think, you can change the outcomes. You change the way that they speak, you change the way that they see themselves. You change the way that they see themselves, you can change the outcomes. So instead of complaining about everything, what I do is I actually show God's power by doing the work.
Absolutely.
Doing the work.
Perfect.
So we have Urban Nerds. Urban Nerds Worldwide is one of our YouTube channels where you can actually see us doing the work in Philly. And then I have the Street Media TV. And what has to happen is we have to start, more of us have to come together and shine the light. We have to shine the light on each other. That's the only way, and get the word out there. That's the only way it's going to grow.
I mean, if they're using this same the outlets as far as social media, then this is definitely where we should be. Where else could you be that people over in Africa, the UK, everywhere else can hear you right now? So we got to use the same, outlets that they use. So this is the best place to be.
I on my channel, in my community tab, I show pictures of my 6 grandchildren, my wife, and all over my YouTube channel. I always did videos with my wife. I did videos with my children. And the reason why I did it, because I heard, I've been on YouTube for 8 years. I heard a lot of women say, we need more men to step up to the plate. We need more men this. So I was tricked into giving them that, but they never supported it. I would be over there. They don't never come over. They was in the manosphere lives. Over there arguing with them. They wasn't the brothers that was coming on with the wives doing the work. They didn't watch it. And somebody told me, somebody said something to me. The reason why they don't support us, because coming over here to support us means that you actually got to clean yourself up. That means that you actually got to do some work. Oh man, SB, man, she got a husband. She over there sitting upright. She talking. Oh, I can't go over there and be ratchet. I got to go over there and act like I got some sense. And I figured that out. So what I did was, okay, I'll be the sacrifice. I hear you, Lord. I understand. I'm not going to get the following. That's fine. I'll keep doing the work. But when they come to my channel, let them see a black man with his wife to let them know that it's possible. Right. I'm from the hood. I grew up in the hood. I've been locked up for all kinds of stuff. I changed my life in prison, came home, got a wife, met this woman, got married and been married for 20 years. And I got 4 kids, 6 grandchildren. I come from the block like anybody else. So I promote that. I don't promote my old pictures of cars and what I did in the street. That person did. I died and rose again. So this is me. So we have to promote more of that. But I just want you to understand the reason why a lot of women may come after you or don't come follow you because they got to act right now. They got to come in and sit down. They got to be quiet. They got to be nice. They got to clean themselves up. A lot of people are not ready to clean themselves up.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Thank you so much, Street Media. We're going to find you. Do you do any lives?
Yeah, well, I haven't done any lives lately. I post videos every week. But I got burnt out, man. I was doing lives for like 7 years straight.
I got you. I see. Yeah. Oh, we're going to find you and we'll check it out. Definitely. Okay. But listen.
I watch you all the time.
Oh, well, thank you. Don't forget about the show on Sunday. We need you there at Hardlyinitiated, 5 p.m.
Okay, I'll be there.
Thank you, sir. No problem. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bolo.
SB, can you hear me?
I can. Loud and clear. You sound good tonight. What's going on?
I'm trying to get to where you at.
Bolo, you were there. You was there. You heard. What you got to add to this? Wait a minute. Before you start, though, let me read these super chats. Let me say thank you to these people for supporting me because I appreciate them so much. Clement Gray, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, as believers, we are not to talk to non-believers. She had denounced Jesus Christ. She said last night at that point, Tim was to minister to listeners. You know what? I think, Clement, I happen to think that Bolo is going to say somewhat of the same thing that you just said. And also, Clement, Tim is a panderer, just like Jake's Jamal Bryant. How about that? Thank you, Clement, for that. And listen, don't give up on Hardlyinitiated. I'm going to be there on Sunday, so I need your support. All right, Bolo, go ahead. Let's talk about it.
What's going on?
It's a lot. You and I talk about this stuff a lot, and you know what we up against, so.
Yeah. Wow. Where do we start?
Okay, we can go back to what you, like I said, I told you already. I really appreciate the fact that he was able to introduce Jesus to that conversation last night because it was just such the representation of man and women and just society, in my opinion, was off, was bad. There was no opposing, but again, that could have been some of our egos. I kind of agree with that because I kind of wanted him to, to be like, that ain't true. But again, if she doesn't believe, what sense does it make to correct? So I'm kind of out to lunch on that. But tell me what you think about it.
We do that all the time, though.
I know.
You know, our job is to plant and water.
Yes.
That is our job, to plant and water. We don't pick and choose when we do it. The only thing we can pick and choose is how we deliver the message. But our job as believers is to deliver the message. That's your job, right? So what should have happened was, when we read Colossians 4:6, right? And the Lord says, let your speech always be with grace, as though seasoned with salt, so that you know how you should respond to each person. So what does that mean, right?
Okay.
Let your speech always be with grace. Grace, when someone moves gracefully, it's smooth. It's not hard. It doesn't stutter step. You know, it doesn't offend, right? So we know he had that covered, right? He didn't come there to offend, right? Because remember, love given with truth given without love is a weapon.
Right.
We're not here to weaponize the truth. We're not here to weaponize Christ. It's not what we're here to do. We're here to gain. So then when it says, as though seasoned with salt, what does that mean? We don't like bland stuff. Neither does our Lord and Savior. He ain't a bland dude. He needs some of that, you know, adobo put on top of the word. So you have to know the person that you're speaking to, because the way I speak to Mr. Boss is not going to be the way I talk to Miss Boss, right? I'm going to deliver the message differently. It's the same message, the same directions, but I'm just going to give it differently so that you can receive it. That's why Christ said, to the weak, I became weak. To the strong, I became strong. I'm going to meet you where you at, because it doesn't make sense for you to give all these big words and everybody in there have a 5th grade reading level. So, you know, and then it goes so that you will know how you should respond to each person. He was talking as if he was on the pulpit.
Yes.
You're not on the pulpit, my G. You're not on the pulpit. You're speaking to a woman that's been broken and hurt. Okay. That has been, you take a towel and you wet it and you wring it out. This is what this woman is. She's moving and functioning in her trauma.
Dysfunction, in her dysfunction. Go ahead and say it. But do you think he knew that prior? Or, well, let's say this. He should have known that prior. Whether he knew it or not, he should have known that prior.
Let your speech be with grace, as though seasoned with salt. You're supposed to know how to deliver your message. When you read Psalms 119:42, it says, so I will have an answer for him who reproaches me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
All, the correction should have been made. Stop calling men males. We ain't animals. The correction should have been made with love. Stop calling men males, but you have so much endearment towards women when you say women. I never hear her say females. Seldomly do I hear her. All of her quoting stats, all of her breakdowns are from men.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Bolo. You made me think about something. I know you tuned in. I really want to talk about this. She definitely alluded to, if not just right out said, that men are broken and women are whole. What do you think about that?
She's full of garbage. How are men broken when you're functioning in dysfunction? Every man that you had in your life, from the one that raped you to the one that robbed you to all these different men, there's one common denominator, shorty. That's you. That's you. You're the common denominator. So you're sitting here talking about I mastered men. No. What you did was you mastered your dysfunction. You've learned to heal wrong. That's what you did. You healed wrong. Bones can heal wrong, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And
definitely.
And that's the problem with when we move outside of Christ. We start to think that the sight of man is more pure and stronger than the vision of Christ. And that's the issue. My issue with her is she's moving how she's supposed to move. She's doing what she's supposed to do, meaning this is a woman that's been hurt. Mm-hmm. This is a woman that needs to be helped. She needs to see. Here it is. The doctor walks in and he's giving you Tylenol. But my chest is hurting. Right? So when we read Psalms 119:42, so I will have an answer for him who reproaches me, for I trust in the Lord. The scriptures offend.
But
In
I want you to be deeper than that. I want you to say it so somebody can really hear what you're saying. Listen, I'm in the emergency room and I'm about to die.
Now I'm gonna give you a band-aid. That's what he did.
And she about to die. And he telling her to put that aspirin underneath her tongue.
Nah. You have to go in there and surgically. Again, it's not about man. This is about Christ. You have to go in there and surgically remove the cancer from her. And if she cannot be saved, which is not our job to judge, then we teach through her. You had a woman come up there in B. Taylor, telling me I'm not dealing with dudes. Dudes is this. What did you do? What light did you shine? You shine no light. If anything, you look more weak. Christ is bold and strong with love. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's her girlfriend, and that woman got 2 kids. And beyond that, Bolo, she is not the aspirin, and she needed the shock treatment to the heart. The heart needed to be jolted. I understand that she's been through some trauma, but putting this on the men because we are all living in a carnal world full of sin. We got to let her know that there's more to life than that. And
here's a crazy thing, right?
Y'all making me scratch my head. Right?
At the end of the day, it is so easy to look at someone else and point the blame. It is so easy to do that. In fact, this is what we do consistently and constantly. What the Lord wants you to do first is look at you.
Right. Self-reflect. You're right.
He wants self-introspection to start from you. Because when the Lord tells you love your brothers as you love yourself, I got to love myself first. I got to know what that is. I got to know what truth is. So when she's given all of these different things, right? And again, it's not to hurt or to tear down. Our job is to plant and water. God gives the increase. Okay? Let God cook. Stop opening the damn oven and seeing what God's doing. Let him cook.
Okay. What do you mean by that? Tell us, break it one more down. Down one more time. I'm sorry, y'all. Because listen, this is difficult for me because I say this to you all the time. You know what I mean? When you see things crystal clear and you're testifying and you're trying to be that example for people. So and you're sharing it with them and it's just crystal clear to you. You lose the words to actually say so they can get it. You lose it because it's just so much all around you and you got people. It's just so obvious to us, but it's not to them. Bolo, what do we say? I know we just plant that seed, but what is that? I know what the seed is too, but what would be the appropriate things to say to shock that heart back in the appropriate natural beat? What would we say?
Through the weak, you become weak. She's operating in the guise of being strong, and she's not. She broke down. And this is the first time I've seen her in that thought process of being weak. Because every time you see her, she speaks from that thought process of strength, right? That false strength, that false bravado of being strong.
Okay.
So what you do is the information that she throws at you, you tear it apart. For example, she says that marriage is this, that, and the third, and women are this and that. Okay, cool. Let's go with that. Right? When you're looking at lesbian relationships, we're just talking woman and woman, and then you have gay relationships, men and men. More lesbians divorce than gay relationships. Explain that to me. There's no man involved at all. And you have both whole holes, according to her, 300, according to her. So why is there more divorce rates, more DS, okay, or DV, excuse me, in lesbian relationships than in gay relationships? The problem isn't the gender. The problem is the thought process. That's what it is. The problem is a thought process. You're thinking broken. And our job is to show you that you need one factor in your life to shut all of that down. And that is Christ.
Yes.
And how do we do that? By giving ourselves as a testimony. Listen, I may not have gone through what you've gone through, but I was broken, messed up too. I was messed up. But look at what he did. Perspective is so important, SB. You have a seed. If you put that seed into the ground, that seed has two perspectives to look at it from. That seed can look at it that I'm being buried. You're putting dirt on me. I'm claustrophobic. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna get wet. And then you have the other perspective where that dirt can that seed can say, I'm being planted. I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna be fed. I'm gonna become something strong when I come out of this ground.
Yeah.
So perspective is everything. He gave no clarity, no perspective, nothing. I don't need you to come in there and rub my back, brother. I don't need you to do that. I need you to be that doctor that the Lord made you to be, to come in here and dissect where my issues are. Because again, she may not see it, but you had a lot of women that were in that chat that may. So maybe
Absolutely.
the Lord brought them with her so that you could minister to her. So maybe you could teach through her to get to them. We have to understand that these things happen, because sometimes if I can't talk to you, like Tommy says, I got to talk through you. Maybe you're not meant to get it at this point. I don't know.
Okay.
That's not my, but let me reach those out there that are. He did none of that.
So listen, let's you got some time? You got a minute?
I got a little bit, yeah.
Okay, let's play some more of the video because
Okay.
I want you to hear it. You can't.
I'm gonna put it down for a second.
And for what men tell them through the manipulation and all of that. And what would an STD man do? What's his purpose of even getting with her? His whole objective is just to try to infect her with a disease. Listen,
Princella,
I get you.
no, I'm listening. The thing about it is, I get you don't want your narrative to get, to get twisted, but it's very difficult to have a conversation with you because I'm really trying to ask you a very direct question, but you want to push your lesson so hard that I can't ask you it's just a very straight, you don't even have to yes or no it, but just answer that question.
Well, yes. Well, here's the thing. It's not, but remember when we talked on the phone, you let me know you just wanted me to talk so I could get it out.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not, don't have to yes or no.
You're right.
But I want to know, is it wrong if a woman does want to be married to a man long term?
Here's the thing. What does the woman want out of it? Okay. If she wants something that y'all cannot give, it absolutely is something wrong.
And what if we can?
Right.
Let's focus. What if we can give?
Here's the thing. What you can't give is what she's wanting. And I'm telling you, this is what I tell women. Okay. I say that men are incapable of love. First and foremost, guess what women are looking for from y'all? They are putting up with
I don't know if we should have played that. Want to keep playing that part?
a lot of drama from men because they are looking for something like love that they were meant to be themselves. They were meant to love themselves. But instead, because the system then created it this way, they are looking outside of themselves for something, for men to give them something that they're not capable of giving. And here's the reason why the male is not capable of giving you that. Because not only are y'all battling testosterone and you're battling the pecking order, which means that you're in competition with other men, you are also battling your nature to try to not impregnate as many women as you can. This is the biological.
All right, Bolo, you back?
I'm here.
All right. So did you hear all that?
I heard it.
Okay. So let's start with that. If a woman wants to get married, the question was, would you, basically he's asking her, would she support it or would it be the right thing to do? She did not openly want to just answer that question yes or no. She added the context of it all depends on what a woman wants from a marriage, I suppose. What is that?
That's garbage. Listen, did you notice how she plugged her books a few times in there?
Oh my God, 41 types of men. Listen, I said 41 types of men. I got one man. I've got one book that's talks about men, and it's called Powerful Praying Wife. And you ain't got to worry about all that extra stuff. That's what, because she said it's got 41 different types of men in it. I'm thinking, wow.
She's speaking from her hurt. She's telling you, it's like a single mom, right? A single mom that's hurt can only teach her son what a single mom looks like.
Hurt. Yeah.
That's all she can't teach him nothing else.
Right.
She can't teach him. She can't teach him how we got here. All he sees is the result. That's it. All he sees is the result.
So her way of answering that question was taking us back to men being incapable of love. So basically, a woman doesn't need to marry a man because a man can't give a woman what she needs, and that need is to be loved. Now, let's talk about that. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Saying woman when she really should be saying Princella. That's really what she should be saying. It's not what she's trying to do is conflate and put her. What she's doing is she's projecting her inadequacies on women, period. That's what she's doing. So what she should be saying is Princella shouldn't be getting married because Princella picked the wrong dudes. Princella need to chill. Princella need to get her life together, her thought process together, and heal right. What she's doing is lazy because she doesn't want to get up and do the work to heal correctly in Christ. She wants to function in her dysfunction. She's no different than some of those dudes that are in the manosphere that don't want to do the work to be better men. She's no different.
I think they actually equated her to Red Pill.
Absolutely.
They did, yeah.
She sound like she got the vibration of a dude, bro. She's no different. And my man, but I understand where Tim was, what he was trying to do. At the end of the day, I get it. You don't want to offend. It's not about you offending, because when you come in with grace, empathy, sympathy, and you come with the long suffering, Christ is going to offend. Because we need to put more Christ on as we shed more of us off.
Absolutely. Yes. That's the only way it can be.
Absolutely. And if you're not offended, man, I'm offended every day I read the scriptures, man. I'm offended every day.
Yeah, you messed up. Yeah.
I see the things that I do and the things that I pray for repentance and pray for forgiveness for. Nowhere did he say that. Nowhere did he say, okay, cool. Let's compartmentalize this thing because we're making it too general. And every time I try to catch you, you turn into a puff of smoke. So let me try to corner you. Cool. In all of these men that you gave us, in all of these men, what is the common denominator, Princella? I made you warm. You know what I'm saying? I cried with you and I shedded a tear too after she gave her breakdown because it was sad.
Yes.
But it starts from the home. First off, you didn't have a fatherly figure. And the first girl that she falls in love with is her father.
Wait a minute. Why are you saying that? Because she said her dad actually hit her mother in the nose. Her dad was there. Oh, okay. I got you.
Right. In other words,
a good one. I understand.
Right. My daughters will always measure men up against me subconsciously and consciously. They'll always do that. In fact, girls marry someone like their father. The same thing, men. You know, men will marry a woman that has similar traits to their mother. This is the measuring stick. This is the measuring bar. So your stick was broken from the beginning. Let's deal with that. Let's hold up the mirror. Because listen, on my desk, in my room where I broadcast from, I got a mirror always staring at me. Because every time I talk, I'm looking at myself. This is a two-edged sword. It cuts both ways. This just is not a Princella thing. This is a Bolo thing too. An SB thing, a Mr. Boss thing.
Well, let's ask the question, Bolo, because she has lived through a lot of trauma. Let's just be totally real. That was her reality. She witnessed her father hitting her mother in the nose. That was some sort of domestic violence. She's also said that she was at least with 4 different men who actually beat her. I think I want to say she said she was raped maybe once or twice. Yeah. She also did some dealings where men took money from her, large lump sums of money and things of that nature. Right. As I'm assuming all this happened from childhood to adult to the at least present time, because she actually said up until last year, or no, 2016, I think it was. She was on YouTube advocating for men. So even all those things were going on in her life, she still found a way to advocate for men. So something happened where she decided to change her mind. But my whole point of the matter is, I have women in my comment section, Miss M, T Shaw, myself. This is Fifi. Listen, I in my life have never experienced any of that. I have never been in situations of domestic violence. I've never done business in a way where some man was able to steal from me or scam me out of money. I was never in a situation where, I was challenging a man that he needed to beat me or fight me or engage me 4 different occasions. I've never experienced anything like that. My point I'm trying to make is this has to go down to like what you're saying, Princella. You were the common denominator. This goes directly to some choices you were making. But guess what? Those men were wrong and bad.
Those men were dirt bags before she met him.
Right. But I have never in my life experienced that myself on this other side. The men that I have experienced, even the ones that were cheaters, they were immature cheaters, but they still did not do those things. Did they need to grow up and become better? But they were not my husband. So again, we have choices that we make in the life that we choose to live. I choose to live to have a foundation, being that God was in front of my life, a believer in Christ. And that's how, with that discipline, this is how I wanted to live. I think she chose a different life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what needs to be expressed.
Everybody's at different levels, right? Some people are at, they're in worse situations than others.
Yes.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. You know what I'm saying? The vibration that you put out is what you're going to attract. It just is what it is, right? In life, it's not about how well you plan. It's about how you cope when the plan fails. That's what it is. She didn't learn coping mechanisms. She didn't learn to be still. She didn't learn to say, hold on, man. Every time I get into this car, I catch a flat on the back right tire. Every time. It may be in different places, but I still catch a flat. Maybe I need to stop going down that street. There was no self-introspection. What you did was write 8 books or 12 books, or how many books you wrote, functioning in your madness.
In your madness. You're right.
And now you have people who are sick and functioning in their madness, flocking to you.
Right.
That's what you have now. So you have the blind literally leading the blind.
And you're saying, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. This is this them. When it's actually a lack of Christ.
Right. But here's the thing. I think I told you this story. There was an alligator, right? There was a scorpion. Scorpion came up to this river. And the scorpion, scorpions can't swim. So he saw this alligator and he said to the alligator, hey, can you give me a lift? And the alligator said, hell no, I ain't gonna give you a lift. You're gonna kill me. He said, now why would I kill you? We both would die. So it made sense to the alligator, right? So the alligator, let's hop on. In the middle of the pond, he feels a damn prick. And he says, did you just sting me? He said, yeah. He says, now we both gonna die. Why would you do that? Because that's what scorpions do. Now, a lot of people will always say, well, scorpion is a scorpion. The moral of the story is not from the scorpion's perspective. The moral of the story is from the alligator's perspective. He knew what it was.
Better. Yep.
Conned himself into hearing what this person was. He lied to himself because this scorpion told you what he was.
Told you up front.
Exactly. Now, here's the beauty in her story. She hasn't died. She's lived to tell about it. So this is a testimony that can help so many different women. But we got to get her in line with the Lord, because the testimony that she's giving now is leading them to death. See, I'm different from Tim. I'm going to tell you, it's leading you to death. What we need to do, what Christ needs to do, is align you back and give you life, because you are definitely a survivor. I'll give you that.
Yes.
You're definitely a survivor, but that doesn't make you a conqueror. You dig what I'm saying? This isn't about the battle. This is about the war. That's what this is about. And we have to understand that a lot of these women see strength in her. when they should see hurt. They should see hurt. They should
But-
see someone that's functioning in their dysfunction the best way they know how.
They can't see it because they hurt too. So
And that's the point.
that
that's
is
why
it.
That's why he should have taught through her opposed to teaching to her.
Thank
But I
you
know
so much, Bolo.
I know other people. I love you both, Mr. Boss in the building. Thank you so much, SB.
Thank you. We'll speak soon. And thank
Dearly
you so much for
beloved.
coming up.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye. Dr. Steele.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine.
So I know
You
I
know-
saw you there last night. I saw you there. What you got?
You know, first about Princella, and I've seen her many times. I knew about her experiences growing up, and I feel for her about her experiences. But one thing that I've noticed about Princella is that when she does her research, it seems that she looks for research to quote unquote pander to her. She talks about, the biology, the psychology that seem more favorable towards women. Princella seems to also try to make her environment I'm not for sure accommodate is the right word to her, to give her more excuses for her to sort of hate men. Now, and the funny thing is, she did say not all men act this way, but still her weight was still towards hating men because of her experience. And here's the part that really gets me about Princella. It seems like Princella also wants to make her own religion, basically. Because I remember in another stream, I asked her in the chat, does she read the Bible? And she once said that, she used to read it, but she thinks that it's meant for men, where if you see the Bible, God has directions for men on what to do, on what not to do. But I guess Princella basically ignores that. Also, the part where she says that, if I don't know if I'm saying this right, but the objective for marriage is for women to, I don't know, should I say, take crap from men?
Well, she
Did I get that
says
right?
what she said is women who have been married for a long period of time have endured lots of trauma and different things from men, which is just a total error. And I think a lot of times one time I think, judging for what Ryan said to her, she equated that to religion, like people who are religious, or I think she might be saying followers of Christ, or people who believe in religion. They tend to stay in marriages whether they are successful and fulfilled or not. That women just take crap on from men, all different types of behavior, because men are incapable of love. And again, though, Dr. Steele, this goes to the fact that she doesn't have a belief that that Christ is real. She doesn't believe in the redemption. This is the first time I even heard her talk about the Most High or God. And she made the statement of him being a man, and he did correct that, because God is an entity. He's a spiritual thing. Then we have Jesus, who put on flesh to become man, to be our savior. So I'm glad that part came out, because that was needed to be said, in my opinion. I think that was something that was definitely defined correctly. And the part about when she mentioned that men need to be put, separated, and men need men to get them straight, and so they can understand the pecking order and all of that. That was all about Jesus, and she had no idea what she was saying. So I am so glad that he had an opportunity to bring Jesus to that platform last night. I know that was quite a bit of surprise, but we all know that you don't actually have to speak in scripture in order to follow the Bible. It is still what it is,
Right.
So I'm so glad that was able to come out. And I think that was kind of what he meant by you are closer to God than because when you look for things, sometimes you look for things and in your own little mind, you asking yourself for answers. God will give you those answers, and you may not know where those things are coming from, but he'll direct you a certain way. And then again, if we're around here just planting seeds, and then I think what she's doing now, she may have went through a time where she didn't read the Bible or follow scriptures, but doing her research on certain people, it is forcing her to go back and review some scriptures. And see, I just know how powerful God's word is. So you go back and review these scriptures if you want to, they will land, and then your behaviors will change. And then you'll go from, well, men are they're not capable of love, to now there's a certain percentage that are capable of love. And then next month, by 2024, it's going to be half of the men are capable, but they need work, so I see that there's changes. I see it. We're not saying that anybody's done with her at all. We're still planting seeds, but I can see that there is some changes that are happening within her from the beginning when we first saw her months ago to what she's actually saying now. Because if you can recall, I think one of the first videos I had on my channel because it just struck me hard for her to say men are not capable of love. I'm thinking, what? God did this. What are you talking about? It was so shocking, so I know God is still at work. We still planting the seeds. But what overall did you think Pastor Tim did what he needed to do last night?
When I first ran into the title of a show, a debate between Pastor Tim and Princella, for some reason it didn't seem like much of a debate. It's more like a conversation, to me.
Well, I don't see how you debate when you don't believe, you don't even have a thought on the same things. There's no way to debate that, though. So I think they use the wrong words as far as that goes.
Right.
But listen, let me ask this question. Prototype, listen. Prototype said, why didn't that work for the devil? Prototype, I don't have all the answers. I'm telling you what I have observed. I'm telling you, God is way bigger than my thoughts could ever be. I'm telling you, I am a believer of Christ. I'm telling you, this woman is evolving into something. And I'm not saying that she's not full of sin, very sinful, devil, whatever you want to call it, simple demon, whatever you want to call it. I'm not excusing her for any of that, but we were all there. Right now, I could post something. Right now, and you ought to see how the simple demons just jump out at me. And guess what? I don't bash nor disrespect, but you ought to see it. I can see it crystal clear. And I can say that she experiences that's her. And I agree with you with that. But all we can do is sow some seeds. And this woman's rhetoric has changed from the first time that I've heard her to today. When she began, the hate for men was so deep. And I'm not saying that she doesn't still hate men, but due to the different platforms she's been on, and I think the different conversations she's having with people, she absolutely knows that she can't speak in absolute this way. And to me, that's a sign of something. Listen, I find good in folks. I'm very forgiving. God gives grace, and that's what we want to happen. I know they all have been counted. I don't know who's in that number though. So I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to, prototype. So this is why I'm saying what I said. Now she's still dirt wrong. I agree, but we have to, on this side, continue to be believers and continue to promote the nuclear family, successful marriages, good men and good women. And we still have to build up our women, continue to tell them that they have value and their purpose as wives. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stop anything that I'm doing, But I'm just saying, I have seen some things change along the way. And that's just what I was sharing with Dr. Steele. Did you want to add something else, Dr. Steele?
You know, they asked the question, um, uh, do we need the nuclear family? And I wanted to say yes, because when you think of a nuclear family, okay, you think of, okay, what does it consist of? You think of a man who is leading, you know, his family the best way he possibly can. Um, but when he leads, you know, he leads with knowledge. He leads with intent. He doesn't lead with his ego. He does not. You know, he wants what's best for the family. Um, when and it also consists of a wife who's receptive to that man and listens to that man and knows in her heart that everything, you know, he said is also for her good as well. See, the man of the family, you know, at least the ideal man in the family doesn't just think about himself
No.
or his ego. Okay, he thinks about, you know, the entire family. And now let's bring the children into it. Okay, he also, you know, has his children in mind. The children are basically, you know, his and his wife's legacy. But it's not enough. Well, in order for one to be a legacy, it's not enough to be born, but that legacy has to be guided.
Absolutely. And that's the role of the man. He's definitely is supposed to lead his family. I think, you know what, we still have to be better examples of what we are saying the marriage of the man and the woman is supposed to be. There needs to be more examples of it in these spaces. We already know the foul behavior, the bad behavior, the salacious behavior, the cussing out, the fussing, the arguing. Y'all already know that is what gets the numbers. It would be, if I was saying something crazy right now, it'd probably be 300 people sitting here looking at me. This chat would be going crazy. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that this message that we are giving, like, you know, it's not one that everybody ain't want to drink this Kool-Aid. As we stop drinking Princella Kool-Aid, only God her talk ain't changed, only diverted. Listen, we gonna see. We're gonna see, Clement. We definitely gonna see. I just think that it's changed. Lots of translation. How you doing? I just think her message has changed from the first time that we seen her to today. God gives her grace. I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing. And if I ever were to encounter her, I'm gonna continue to do what I'm doing stronger, because I am that woman. You know, she's talked about a woman being the example. She want a woman to tell her, who's been married for a long period of time, how her husband has treated her, has not brought her trauma and all that good stuff. I got the glow. Y'all see it? So I am that example, but we're going to continue to do what we do. Dr. Steele, we're going to continue to pay attention. Make sure you are at Hardlyinitiated on Sunday at 5 p.m. I appreciate you so much, but we're going to continue to have this conversation, and we definitely need you there. I want y'all listening and paying attention so we can definitely recall the things, but continue to be who you are. Don't allow something somebody says to change who you are as a man. I think there's a lot of adjusting that's going on in this 2023 era that we're in. Men are like taking what they know, and then they be like, well, maybe I need to adjust, because these women, see, there's no adjusting that needs to be done. You need to be God-fearing and willing to stand on it. And if a person or a man or a woman is involved in domestic violence, there's just good people and bad people. If you're a bad person, you just a bad person. It ain't got nothing to do with being a man, or, you know, man, man. It's just, you are a bad person. That means we all need Christ. We need to be saved. And that's just how it goes. Thank you, Dr. Steele. Let me read these super chats. Nicole Faith, Fitness in Motion. I like that. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Thank you for being bold about being a follower of Christ and including the Father/Word in all your messages. Keep doing what you do, and blessings you and your fam. Thank you so much, Nicole. I like that. Clement, Tim was the wrong person for that show last night. I can understand why you would say that, but again, he was able to bring Jesus in. Y'all see, listen, I keep saying that because how else was he gonna come in? I didn't see nobody else talking about it. All we see is a lot of opposing views, but nobody can actually, I haven't seen people actually take her where she needs to go. Of course, we didn't stay there very long. Of course, there was a lot of opposition craziness going in the conversation. Nobody really cares about that. And going back to something Prototype said, Prototype, you might be right. She is leading a lot of people to hell, but all we can do is plant the seeds. And that's what we're doing. Clement, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. The sad thing is Princella is doing the same thing a lot of these preachers are doing, a pandering weak women, and these women follow what they say. That is very sad. You are exactly right about that. But again, there's a lot of trauma. There's no healing that's going on, and she's meeting them right where they are. You know good and well, if you had somebody that could experience what you can feel, what you feel, you'd be like, that'd be your partner. You know, so often there are people who go to AA meetings and they come out of there with their wife or husband, or they go to NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and they come out there wanting to get married. Two broken people in the middle of an addiction, trying to be whole, and they want to get married. That's one of the rules. They tell you don't do until you whole. You don't even know who this person really is. It's the drugs you're talking to. It's the want to be whole is what you're listening to. Wait for them to be whole. But often know they meet their husbands in them NA meetings. So, Clement, marriage starts and ends with God. No such thing as a nuclear family without marriage. There's no family without man and woman. No marriage without God. Wait. I know what you're saying, and you are exactly right. People label a lot of things marriage. I just want to say that, put that disclaimer out there, but you are exactly right. Marriage, the biblical concept that God created, requires covenant. And that is what holds us together. That is the foundation that, in my opinion, we need to have to get through this thing, to take those vows, to be sacrificial, to want to sacrifice, to be better people, to not to disappoint God the Father. All right, let's keep going. I think
logical code that's going on in you. So you have to take a certain amount of willpower just to govern your own biology, to govern the thoughts that goes across the male's mind. You have to put so much energy into that. Then the woman is wanting you to be an equal partner that behaves and thinks like a woman, which is not something that y'all are going to be able to do, because not only with that, you have the system that has unrealistic expectations that males have to meet. So since males have an issue with communication, males have an issue with trying to express how they feel. A lot of them don't even know how they feel in their own body. They're not going to even be able to understand and carry the load that women are asking them to carry, which only burdens men down even further from reaching this quote unquote thing called love. So what we're asking the average male to do is to be the top 1% of man, which is not likely in a system like this, and then have women accept the man with the idea that he can be this 1%. It's inevitable dysfunction. The only way that a relationship with a man can work from the woman is for her to not expect him to do anything. She shouldn't have any expectations on him.
Does my face look crazy enough for y'all?
They liars, bro. They liars.
See, this is why it's so important that we refer to marriage as a biblical concept as it is. This is why we don't make our marriages businesses, because she mentioned in here, men like to make women equal partners. I don't know. Let me be totally correct. The men I know are the men that I speak to, the men in my comment section. They always speak of wanting to be true leaders. They're wanting to be head of their household. They want the role of the man. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm not even saying they know how to do the job. But we know that in marriage, that is the role of a man, whether they have it today or whatever. This is their goal. This is what they want to do. I think one step to that is to definitely be God-fearing. I think you definitely need to refer to the creator of the marriage to figure out, how can I achieve this? I think men absolutely love, or just the fact that a woman, that they're taking care of their family, that their kids respect them, and that he is respected in the house. I think that men just melt because of that fact. There is a whole sector of men that this is what they want from life. And it's not a financial thing. It's a thing of servitude. It's a thing of being a follower of Christ. It's a thing of being in purpose. That is what they desire. But she's also somewhat right that now we're living in 2023. And I just told y'all right before we turned the video on that a lot of men are saying to themselves that they need to alter their thinking. They may not. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They need to alter their thinking. They may need to entertain a bit more that this woman is making all this money. Maybe she need to pay half. Maybe she needs to contribute more than I'm contributing, or what have you. And, I don't know if it's serious or if they're joking or what have you, but that is not the pecking order or the order of what marriage should be. Of course, you do what you want. For me, marriage, excuse me, y'all, marriage is for life. So for me to be married for life, I felt as though I needed the instructions. I needed to refer to the blueprint that was put there for me in order to follow, to have that longevity in my marriage. I don't think that nobody else's plan could actually get me there. I'm at 28 years. That is somebody's lifetime. Y'all know that. And we're still going. Again, I'm that example.
Dearly beloved.
So for her to say that men can't achieve this, that is wrong again. And why would a woman want a man that is less than this? I don't know. We're here for a purpose. Our purpose, again, though, this goes back to your belief system. Our purpose as a wife, or Eve was made from Adam, for Adam. We are helpmates. That is our role. If we could just stay in that position and perfect it, then we could have some very, very good lives. But it's the fact that we want to, what goes back to that darn situation in that garden. We wanted to be more than what God wanted us to be. We wanted to know everything. Well, what about this, God? Well, what if I went out and I did as much as Adam and maybe did a little bit more? Do you think I could have a larger position as helpmate? We wanted to just do more. But we got to get it back to the order. And you have to recognize that order and understand that that order is real. And again, that goes back to our belief system. Black man, you are just so to the point. This woman is stupid. You are crazy. Oh my God. Listen, y'all, the boss has the link in the chat. If y'all have something y'all want to add to this, you can definitely come up and let me know. But we have to continue to focus on our purpose, what we're here for, the order. We have to recognize the order, because if not, then we could just fall for any and everything. To have someone tell me that I have 2 kids and I'm supposed to be by myself, and it's okay for me to be by myself, and I'm raising these 2 kids, and I'm a woman, and that's all I know is to be a woman, and I can't give them the balance they need because I don't even know who their daddy is, but that's how it's supposed to be. That's an error. So despite what people are saying and doing, y'all, you got to understand, we need Jesus. And that's the answer to all these things that she's bringing up. I'm not saying that she's lying, because we got a whole bunch of dysfunction. But a man has never wanted to be equal to a woman. I don't know men that want to be equal with women. A man has always wanted his rightful position, whether he operated in it to its fullest, at its best, you know, who knows? He's always wanted that position, and he was given that position from the beginning. A woman had nothing to do with it. We were not even here yet, and he was given that position. Again, can y'all just sit back and imagine the conversations him and God was having about how this thing was going to be and what he was supposed to do? We were not even thought about at the time. But now we want to be equal. They want to be equal with us. No, that's not what it is. We're just out of order. Completely out of order, and we are definitely living in dysfunction. And when I've told y'all this, guy, about a year ago, y'all remember the water? Remember how I told y'all in order for me to wash my face, me and Mr. Boss, we had to go to the shower, turn the faucet on because at the sink the water wouldn't come on, and it was okay for them to live like that, but for company to come in, we had no idea how we were supposed to brush our teeth. So they looked at us and say, "You got to brush your teeth from the shower." And me and Mr. Boss looked at each other and be like, "Huh?" So we had to turn the faucet on in the shower in order for the water to come on in the sink. Y'all, it was crazy. So much dysfunction, but for them it was normal. But for us, we was like, huh? But that's become the norm. It's so many things that we could talk about that has become the norm, to the point people will argue with me about this. They would say, it's a woman doesn't know that she's not supposed to be a single mom. Huh? What do you mean? She knew it took two people to make the baby. How come she wouldn't know it takes two people to raise the baby? Y'all trying to make me crazy is what y'all tried to do. I'm not going for it. I had ladies argue with me. No, SB, you don't understand. They've been living like that for so long. They believe that that's the right thing to do. I said, I don't care about right and wrong. I'm telling you that they know that this is wrong. I don't care about their norm. Y'all, if it takes two people to create something, it probably takes two people to rear something, to grow it up. Now, you can do what you want. I'm talking about to give it that good balance of production, to say how this thing is going to come out, make it good, to mold it just right, or to be as best as can be. It probably is going to take two to continue on in that journey, if it took two to make it. Now, I think it was Bolo that was saying we're living at a time, or it might have been, I'm not sure, street media. It might have been him that talked about how we got these artificial wombs and things of that nature. And yeah, we are coming a long way. And, you know, you can go buy you some sperm and all of that, I guess. But again, you got to go buy the sperm. It's still a requirement of a sperm, which comes from males, to the point now, I guess they're saying they're going to get them a male, only one. And we're going to make him do these things that he needs to do. And we don't really want to sleep with him, but we're going to produce these children. Yeah, that's straight dysfunction. And they know it. They know it. But it is written. And I guess we just got to walk this out. Clement says, Eve made the same mistake Satan did, thought she was more superior than God. She definitely knew she was above Adam, and Adam allowed it. That's that part of our curse, men. Fight for your purpose to be a man. Absolutely. Absolutely. She wanted to know. Why did she want to know everything? Lawson Translation says, shaking my head, juice in the jug. So, Mr. Boss, I'm stuck till May. What is he talking about? Oh, Black, I would love you to be on the show. I would love you to be on the show. Thank you so much for your support. Let's continue on with the video, and then we're going to end this thing. Black, I heard what you said. I'm talking fast. I talk fast sometimes.
Hold the tension.
Modern, hold on for a minute. Let me say hello to Modern Renaissance. I hadn't seen you in a while. Hello, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody is good. He says that same mindset will say nothing to the wrong with Lizzo's weight. They will talk about how talented she is, etc., leaving out the truth, all the health issues and risks she has. Yeah, we're gonna have to jumpstart her heart one day. She go get up there and get to singing, and you're right. But guess what though? It's straight up dysfunction. A young lady told me the other day, why do women have to be accountable? She just flat out said it. In my mind, made me think about it for a minute. I'm thinking, huh? Why do women have to be accountable? You want to continue to make the same mistakes over and over? She's like, why don't you just say something nice and loving and continue on? I said, what? This is what they say to me in my comment section, y'all. SB, well, I guess you're not saying anything harsh, or bashing was the word. I guess you're not bashing them, but it doesn't sound real positive, the information that you're giving. I'm just saying what y'all doing. I'm just telling you how to become a better person. Don't you want to become a better person, or do you want to remain a victim all your life? I'm not interested in being a victim. I can only tell you how to be an adult and win. And if me calling out what you are doing is me bashing, well, y'all, that's what I do. I'm wrong for that. Listen, I'm wrong for that one. Forgive me. But anyway, SB looked like she wanted to punch. You know what? Boy, you know what? I'll be up there right now. Eve, what is you doing? You ain't got no business over there talking to the serpent anyway. Don't you got him in? What you doing? Don't y'all know I'll be over? She was trying to explain to me why she need to know more than God. Didn't that man give you authority? Don't you have the man of the man? Isn't he what Kevin said was a high value man? Adam, he was it. What are you doing? She had to have some answers for me, y'all. Y'all be getting my crazy head. Don't get me started. Mr. Boss be like looking at me now. I be like, is you all right? I'd be like, no, I'm crazy right now. But either way, they are happy victim. They are happy as victims. No, they're not. They're not happy as victims at all. They're actually crying out. They want someone to listen. And when you oppose them, they want you to actually fight back. But when you come back with respect and love, they then begin to start saying this crazy stuff. They become like little simple demons, and they start lashing out with old crazy stuff. Not even context. It don't even be in context with what you said. It just be this wild stuff. And you be like, huh? That's what they do. So you know at that point you've sowed a seed, but there's nothing more for you to do because you're not going to change who I am. I know who I am. You're responding to my text. You're responding to my video. You're not going to alter me. You're not going to give me another way of thinking because I know who God is. I am a believer and a follower of Christ. I am a married woman, been that way for 28 years. You're not going to tell me about my husband. This is all anecdotal. I know y'all. I know this is me talking, but I have seen a bunch of this going on. I'm not the only woman that has a good husband. I'm not the only woman whose family follows Christ. I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of us out here. It is more of y'all in sin and, hellacious doing, behavior. I get it, but still, there are a lot of us out there. Now, let me go on.
Humanity of man and the Bible not having any chill and outing everyone from the beginning all the way through to the end that did not hold the integrity and the character and the standards that God's precepts, decrees, laws, and commands ask for, which is why we needed a savior. I absolutely agree that what is being asked of men and women is absolutely impossible in our own willpower. Left to our own devices, we will always go to our default lower level because the condition of men and women at a biological and psychological level is to seek pleasure and avoid pain. That is not just in men, that is in women as well. Everyone. So what I will say is this is why
we are, listen, this man just said a mouthful. He said, without Christ, you will go to your lowest levels. You will satisfy that flesh and all your desires. You will do whatever you want to do. This is why we have men graping. This is why we have women sneaky leaking. This is why we have people being deleted each and every day. This is why we have such bad behaviors in this world. This is why our children are falling off cliffs, because we will go to our lowest nature if we don't have Christ in our life. Because there's nothing keeping us. There's no foundation. And guess what? That is just not man. That is woman. And you hear her say, She said, That meant I know exactly what you're saying. You're right. We will go to our lowest nature, and y'all see it every day. Y'all see it at our lowest nature. But you know what, y'all? I ain't gonna talk about it no more. I've been here with y'all almost 3 hours. Y'all got me working. I love being here with y'all though, because y'all funny. And listen, when y'all see Adam, Don't kick him up is real, right? Listen, guys, I have said it several times, but y'all come with me on Sunday. I am going to be on Hardlyinitiated live at 5 p.m. I have no idea what the topic is, but y'all know y'all got to come and support SB. Y'all got to be there. I need y'all in the comment section. I need y'all to be SB Nation, SB Nation. Y'all know all that stuff that we do. But listen, until then, y'all have a good weekend. But I'm expecting to see y'all on Sunday at 5. Do I need to say it again? Do I need to stamp it somewhere? What I need to do? I don't know. But until then, y'all have a good weekend. I'll see y'all Sunday at 5. Good night.
Take up all of the floor. I'm fine with standing at the edge of the door. You be the life of the party. I blend in with the core. You drink it all to Bacardi. Let's take it back for this started. You want the love, I don't got it. You screaming, stay, please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to flow. It's so different with distance we roam into zones where nothing get heard anymore. I just wish I was home when I stepped through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay? Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in the days, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars, reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Now you crying, and I'm trying to find the reason. So I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black? I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.